the knock, but he'll punish you every single time you look his direction, and that's what opens up everybody else for VP.
The thing I just want to add for B,
absolutely,
and it's one thing I noticed at PGC, he's doing that content piece. I was into the studio early, into the stage early, and he was that one player that was there every single time. It was completely empty. It was beaming every day, and one of the people last to leave as well. So it's not just obviously what he does within the game, it's actually outside of the game what he brings. He's the first in, leading the charge with the team. He's putting the hours in. I will give a shout out to Shrimsy, etc., because they were also soon to follow. But there was a clear consistency with B, that he was early in and late out.
All right, let's talk about teams that have to grind, Martin, real quick. Twisted Minds, 23 points, 13th place. Not what I'm used to seeing when it comes to PGS previous champions. What do they need to do to get back into this?
Winning their fights, staying together as a four-man, all the usual. Again, it's a situation where they get caught in off positions where they don't expect to. Last one, the Wrangle game yesterday was really clear to me. They hunker down so much where they know obviously the meta is to these new mole holes and use your utility and so. But they were in such a passive position that 2 or 3 nades get two knocks and then Example's left to himself. If they were more proactive about it, they would have been 3 alive. They could potentially held out a team and been that last team coming in from the west. So I want to see more innovation rather than passive gameplay from them.
All right, it's time to get game number 1 underway. This is the first match. It's time to Tego with 5 left to play in the final. At the end of the day, we crown the champion, and we also find out which 8 teams go directly to the grand final of our circuit championship. For the cast, we brought out the big guns. It's the legendary Danish coach Avenger and the man who never sleeps, Matro.
Oh man, it is definitely feeling that way today. So pardon me if I'm a little bit slurry or anything else like that, because it has been minimal sleep for me, but that just means I'm riding high off of the energy of just too much PUBG, Avenger.
Yeah, exactly. So happy to be breaking this one down and getting the games going for today. And it's always awesome when you have so many teams that still have an opportunity, man, right? We see these games where you go out and, like we saw Arena last weekend, they pop off. They had an amazing day 2, and from a middle position, they're able to win it all. And I feel like at least half the team from today, even maybe a team that's in 25, 26, 27 points, with a big pop-off today, they could catch up to the top and claim a podium finish.
It's really just down at the bottom where we're looking at like Alpha, GK, GAM, the Expendables. I mean, we do know that several of those teams can be very explosive and find a lot of points inside of a couple of games back-to-back. But, man, that's going to be the name of the game if you're wanting to try to find something. VP on the shots early as we get 2 Tagos today, so this is going to be the very first one, and it goes pretty centered. It's going to be great for 17 as well as Twisted, one of the teams that we keep talking about pretty regularly.
Absolutely. So many teams here. And with this central position here, we're just looking at a potential terminal finish once again. I'm pretty excited about that because those endings are so interesting because teams really hold and wait to see if it actually goes to market or terminal before they send it in. And you cannot really accommodate that many teams. It's like a fake urban ending. And we saw how DN Supers played that, and they're able to claim it. Let's see how far 17 game. Another thing I wanted to talk about as the games is going on here, Matt. The big thing for me in terms of the top 8 going into that next circuit final for PGS 9, where we have triple the prize pool, double the PGS points, is the current top 8. One team that isn't playing Sharper, they had 63 points last week, and that actually kind of leaves one spot fully open for grabs, as the other teams with Supers, the Arena, and so forth that were in the top 8 last week. So there's a team that played last week, potentially Falcons. It could be Made in Thailand. Any of these teams that have a really good performance this one, they could take that top 8 spot quite easily because Sharper isn't playing today.
Talking about teams that aren't playing this week versus teams that didn't play last week is Godlike. You're making a kind of an allusion to the fact that we could be going more in that terminal positions, and there's one squad that hopes that it doesn't do that. Is probably Godlike, because that was a hellacious run for them yesterday, having to deal with all of those mortars up on top of them. But early rotates coming out for a couple of our teams, as we do have Team Liquid getting pretty close down into the Southwest. Strategy worked out pretty well for him yesterday, so try to do a little bit of a redo, remix it, make it a little bit better, see how that goes. Is not a lot of early rotates into this circle, Martin. I'm kind of shocked by that because that's been the name of the game when we get center circles like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it comes down to that they want to wait and see if we actually do end up going center terminal. They don't want to send it too early, so they're going to set up shop. And also, you have so many fields around this area on the western side of terminal, southeast, in between Books and Sa as well. There's so many fields, and you really just want to be.
What?
Yeah, you want to be. That's just esports for you right there. There's so much util, so much loot in general, and these guys don't need to loot for that long before they start moving. And that's another thing. Actually, I would love to see even more loot, because then we could cut even more time off that kind of looting phase. So the guys can get the guns and everything that they want to get from the get-go, and they can start moving even early on here. Tycon and APG was pretty impressed with them in the survival stage. But so far, Matt, it's not really come to fruition for them here with 20 points so far in the 5 games they've played.
Yeah, especially coming off of EWC, man. It felt like that did feel a bit magical for them, let's be honest. The consistency wasn't really there for them beforehand, but it did show that there was a high-end potential for the team. Whenever the opportunities presented themselves, they had the ability to climb up, and they could really just kind of take control. You can't say that Vicious was handed everything in the world on their climb before they became Alpha, but Alpha, you're kind of right. It's just kind of, I don't know, for such a similar lobby, they're having so much more of a struggle. And while we have been seeing a lot of hardships, which I know throws off a lot of teams' game, that doesn't feel like that's the case with Alpha. It just feels like their fragging power diminished. Maybe it could be any bazillion number of things that we don't know on the external side of it. But this is a squad that you have to have an expectation coming out of EWC that more than 20 points across the day.
Yeah, that day 2 for them was insane. What a run they had. Amazed with how well they're able to play that. But yeah, maybe it's the name. Maybe they need to go back to that. It could be the name of the game, the magic of the name.
No, what do you mean that everybody that talks about online being an alpha isn't really an alpha?
Nah, let's not go there. That's only beta. Only betas talk about being alphas. No.
Sigmas. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's how it goes. Yeah, I see.
I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm too boomer for the Zoomer talk. As most of our circles starting to settle in, but the space is starting to get cut out. That means that anyone's legend going to be a little bit more of a run-in. They do get pretty close to Petrichor Road, who collapsed in just back behind Team Liquid. See Gen G just trying to feast up and get some more crates for themselves. Jumps in the car and is like, wait. There's more to be had. As Loot Goblin's picking up everything. Gen G ready to come into this one strong and firefight ready.
I love that they're like, okay, in case it goes urban ending, that DPS is going to go to the trunk just in case, Instead of a Panzerfaust, DPS inside a terminal finish would be insane. We talk a lot about it, but we saw it yesterday. It was really, really, again, the terms of the consistency and the tendencies we see in these circles, it comes so often, especially with this one here. A lot of teams are trying to get in and get kind of central this spot here. A lot of the fields are kind of left open, but all the compounds almost is already locked down except for the one west of Market. VP's kind of sniffing that out now. We do have a red zone on top of that. That's going to be the west of Terminal here. It's really going to open up a lot of playing opportunity for that terrain in terms of cover. Falcons also coming in, going deeper here. We're seeing a lot of free real estate here on the eastern side here, Matt, but it's nowhere near the circle, so they're going to have to get a big rotation. Maybe they're thinking that the northeast is going to be more open than the south, and that's actually a really good read, considering where we saw the circle path was west of the current middle.
Well, whenever we were looking at it, the dried out riverbed is just right along the zone wall to the east. So I think that's one of the reasons why Falcon are trying to figure out exactly how they want to approach this, because we've got the hills that lead out from that more into the west whenever we kind of move into the terminal position. To the northeast of that, very strong point, a couple of squads are going to be playing from, and then just due to the south. That's what we see going on right here. Petrichor Road, Team Liquid running a little bit of their split, kind of keeping an eye on what's going to be happening over here. This is a much closer 2-2 split than we saw coming out of day. Super's in a little bit of trouble. It's going to be Perfectix that finds out Guman gets knock on.
Now they're swarming in here. Deal trying to get in and get the backup rolling here. Trying to make sure they save your IGL. Shots are coming in from the distance. That's very unfortunate. Look, very likely going to be a flush here. I don't think they're going to be able to save him. They're also just staying in the car. He's bleeding out. The fact is going to get it. But shots were coming in from the distance as well. It did look like it was Gen G shots. I saw yellow lines coming in on the mini-map. So a good little attempt there to get some steal. The next strike was going to pop though, Matt. So let's see where we end up.
Okay, waiting for that to come through, and it does go down to the southeast. So that's going to eat up a lot of the fields. You can see where GTE is running across. That's going to be kind of a no man's land that is usable later. But due to the hillsides where we see Petrichor Road as well as Team Liquid playing, it's going to be pretty hard to go for at this stage. We still have some of Buxun Sa down into the south, so it's going to be mostly on Godlike, DK, as well as JDG, trying to find some type of wrap into the circle. Twisted Minds very quickly moving more over into the east, realizing that that's a very vulnerable section of the circle that they can try to assault and take control over.
Absolutely. There's, again, not that many compounds here, and those that are not available anymore. Very strong. A lot of them. It's going to be very much high ground plays here. He may take some shots toward Akan. Makes a little bit of bullets there. Oh, he's low. EJ could go down. He does not. I'm just going to jump in the car and keep driving here. We could end up having this kind of high ground where we are going to see the teams kind of fight it out and duke it out. We're going to have a lot of holes there. That was close to where that red zone was. Now more shots coming in from Destroy. She's taking shots toward JDD. A fun thing I actually noticed when we were looking at JDD, every single one of them was aggressively chewing their chewing gums. It's very unlikely because, or unusual, not unlikely, because it's a little bit harder to communicate when you have a chewing gum and you need to relay all this information passed on to your teammates.
But it is a good stress reliever, especially if you don't always have like long enough time for breaks and deal with everything like that we know that China sometimes likes to do before their breaks. So let's kind of keep an eye. We were mentioning Alpha and kind of why Alpha isn't doing the best right now. Well, they're still the odd team out. They can't find a way to navigate the circle. So it looks like they were trying to move more down to the south. That got pushed back and rebuffed by Godlike. So Red Zone kind of cut them off one side. Going to cut them off yet again is DK and Anyone's Legend going to be holding them out. VP up towards the top of this hillside is going to have themselves a couple of little holes that they're digging out. Try to have themselves a very good spot in the circle as well. It's interesting to see that VP often likes to take a little bit of an offset position. They don't like to dig into the top of a hill. They like to be just off to the side of it and dig down a little bit so that way they can still peek off into the distance, and that would give them some vision of what's happening more into the northwest background terminal.
Yeah, that way they can also ensure they have that kind of high ground peak where they run uphill. If they're the last team to come in from this angle here, it's going to be a great approach. But it does look like it's a 2-2 split for them. This is, if we go west and we end up in this kind of high ground between the fields, it's going to be very much a king of the hill fight for that top to make sure you come in as that last team from either side of it. And it's a very kind of prolonged area where it goes from the southwest all the way up to terminal. So there's a lot of point of entries on this area here. Now, next shuttle going to pop in 10 seconds here, Matt.
I was going to say there's a potential for multiple arena firefights because of how big this hillside that we see VP on. We can end up with a lot of squads up to the north around terminal fighting, the ones down to the south. New circle getting ready to pop. Let's see how this is going to go. A couple of recalls coming in. Still keeps in the field. Still keeps in the hillside. Also a little bit of terminal. So it's going to be the guys down to the south and the west regrouping yet again. And that is a multiple push back to back. See how they can handle that as the cluster's getting right on top of each other. Now you just have to deal with the Petrichor Road, spotting out Team Liquid as they wrap through, and Team Liquid just has to send down to the hills. And now where are they going to go? Inside the field, they're getting pretty close to GTE.
This is really what I love about this field is there's so many playable corners that with a little bit of util, a little bit of setup here, maybe with a pickaxe, you can actually get hunkered down quite easily and you can have your backs free and then you can fight your way forward. Now Beamy trying to engage onto this GT position here. You see shot. Oh, he puts him in the car or potentially trying to get him. He's not going to be able to drive away. Doc Juice gets knocked as well. Expendables are losing a lot. Now they're chasing. Oh, that's a flip. That's unfortunate for Lukarooks as the coupe gets flipped a little bit.
That stopped everything in the tracks. Now they're caught in the crossfire. They can't chase this any further, and they've realized it. JD Gaming was just trying to follow in right back behind VP, and VP is now just using the vehicles to push them back, force them up the hillside. So now VP is in this little bit of a bowl with JDG on one side of him, and it's going to be Twisted on the other. Twisted taking more shots into the JDG's position more than anything else, but 17 also kind of corralling this, and JDG profiling at the top of the hill is just getting kind of picked apart from every single angle.
Shawu finds Cold for a flush there. JDD kind of losing a little bit here. This is very unfortunate. Had a really strong position just next to VP. VP could be sniffing that out and kind of hearing that they are up in this one. They're not pushing aggressively on it. They're looking in the direction a few times here. What a great mortar, though, from Chan. We saw him in Miramar the other day, and now he's able to get more. He's got 6 after the ones he's already fired, Matt.
How much does he want? This is like a double up, because if you manage to take out JDG, you get all these extra little dips that you have built for yourself. And really, how do you respond? VP still going to take a couple of opportunities. Throw the nades up here as well. See if they can get the flush. It's bouncing around the US. There you go. Lucarux is going to get the flush for the work and the mortar put in. Retaliation nade starting to roll down. And example spots out Lucarux. Is the problem for going for peaks on this hillside. It is so easily punished.
When you go uphill and you have so many other teams looking at you from safety and compounds on the roofs as well, you're going to get damage done here. 242 damage, number 1 in that so far in the game, for example. As the circle closes in here. Kind of interesting to see if we do go towards the fields where the TDM hill is around, or we do end up getting closer to terminal where the high ground is. It's very fun to see these two interact. If they have to get off these high grounds, off these compounds into the fields, you see so many pull-ups, so many drive-bys. What a nade!
Most of them were kind of falling a bit closer to supers there, but the nades will be able to put in the work and see how the balances continue to roll down. It's going to follow. The vehicle's now just going to be raining down upon him. And this is Jin Ji in trouble. Circle's now popped. It's gone mostly fields. It's going to be VP right on the edge of it with Twisted Minds in their compound. Myth already making a move for it. So the squad's over to the northwest, and the north also going to have a lot of work that they need to put in. Mostly gate kept. If we look at the hillsides and then moving down into fields where you just have to run through a gauntlet. I don't know how you're going to have to find this one. You just have to kind of run through it and see if you can get some knocks and just take a firefight right in somebody's face, it feels like.
I love this ending here around the TDM hill. All the teams are so experienced in these endings here, because this is exactly the circle we see in that TDM setup in game. And all the teams are going to be sending it in here. JDG is actually for a drive here, going straight towards Team Liquid. Nades are coming in. That's a good pre-nade. Headshots come in too. Cowboy finds one. Easy flush for him too, as points come in for Team Liquid.
I mean, Cowboy's just coming into his own right now. JDG going to get eliminated. Just no place to go. We saw them getting picked apart on the hillside. They just had to send it down. But, I mean, again, shout out to Cowboy. He is just finding more and more comfort in these awkward situations, and that is always telling of somebody that's on the rise.
Yeah, absolutely. Now destroying these guys. They need to move, but it's like a big fight. Easy quit it. Oh my god, he turns around. Xiao fights him. Zero fall NB though on the mortar too. Anyone's Legend under so much distress as they're down to just a 2-man. So also gets damage done as well as Wenbo's pushing with the P90.
That was way messier than we're used to seeing come up from anyone's Legend. Double up car as well as guns. And poor old Hymas, what do you do now? You've got 17 both sides. He's just kind of trapped in his car, hoping that nobody sees him, but they know. Nade's already rolling down to him. Follow-ups, they're going to keep rolling through. There we go. Finally connect. And that is going to be anyone's Legend out early. So 7th and 9th already down on this. So opportunity for the top and the bottom of the leaderboard to climb.
Plenty of opportunity for sure, and also so many teams. Even GK at 19 points here. With one decent game, you can jump into the top 8 quite easily. Shots come in, Lucas finds Spumin. As DNS is rotating, more shots come in too. Another tire pop here, making it difficult for Deal to get away.
Supers, they're running into this right on top of it. They're going to stop a little bit beforehand, realize that there's a ton of damaged players in front of them. Can they get anything else out of it? Nade's not going to go quite far enough. Just going to end up on the berm on the other side of this hill. Quick run comes out from Jin Chi. They saw an opportunity. They run it down. Correctly, the last one up, trying to make a miracle play, but he is going to go down. Jin Chi's got to try to get this together really quick because 17 has vision on them from the high ground and knows that they're vulnerable.
They're outside the zone as well. And this one next closing, we go from phase 4 to phase 5. We go from 3 to 5 damage per second. Soul is going to bleed out likely here. More utility coming in. Correction gets one kill here. And this is going to be a little bit difficult. Can they even rest to deny it? I doubt it. More bleed outs are going to happen here. This VP potentially could be picking up a few points more. Bean gets deaded 2 here with this one. That's so unfortunate for Gen G, but still great pickup for them in terms of the points they're able to get from the kills.
Everything's gone fields now, and it's time to just send it. You mentioned the hillside in the middle of it all. We've got Godlike playing to the southeast of it, trying to see if they can hold back what's going to be going on with Alpha. But 17, maybe D, Twisted Minds to the north. They have to make a move. GK, Petrichor Road still stacked on top of each other. The West has got a cluster of problems that are continuing to brew. Super still keeps eyes up onto 17, a bit afraid of where this rotate's going to go for. Chewy, though, was waiting for a con, finishes him out, and just runs back to the shack. This isn't going to be inside the next circle, so it's about trying to get what you can while we have supervision to the south from E-Arena.
So many teams are approaching this so smart, staying fall alive, trying to get an angle where they can get in for free, and then approach it in a smart way here. APG needs to move. 17 needs to move. There could be a big pull-up from 17 onto Liquid. It's happening now with Halo finding Wenbo. Cowboy finds Lil Ghost, and 17 is falling apart.
Oh, Big Mortis coming out. Falcons trying to get this onto Myth, who just kind of had to send it over here. DK is going to get eliminated. Alpha's going to try to move down into the south, but it is going to be Team Liquid stacked on top of 17. Twisted Minds taking some shots. I think we can even see Petrichor Road trying to get involved, while Supers are trying to just use the distraction to navigate, get into a better position inside the circle. So Team Liquid, with their 2 up, are going to be in a much better position closer to the center, but Myth still has 2 players alive right inside the crates near him.
Also have Twisted Minds pushing in. GT is only a 2-man 2. They're going to be pushing in the distance. Maybe Liquid could pick up a few more kills here. If they can third party this fight, multiple headshots are coming in. 2 of the Twisted Minds players down to just 20 HP. Now nades are coming out as well here as a defensive maneuver. And Batulin's going to get hit with that. Hwang finds Batulins. And now Perfectix with a Panzerfaust in hand. Example finds Tanwu, and GT is down to just 1. Hwang, can you withstand this push?
Just charging straight in, not enough damage just yet. No real third parties happening.
Whoa.
But Hwang does manage to get the nade onto Perfectix. It's going to give some information over to Twisted Minds, starting to rain nades through the windows to see if they can find anything. Hwang just trying to take it into a gunfight. And it is going to be a full retreat coming out from Twisted Minds. They don't want to take him into the 1v1 style situation. Lou on the other side, trying to see if he can reset the pacing, trying to make sure that there's no time to get the meds up. Runs right in, LMG in hand, but the timing just isn't quite there. Support starting to come in from Example. Looks like he's just trying to get a little bit more off whatever was sitting onto Perfectix. Nades come out. Lou goes for the spray, and it's going to be Example that gets the shots. Twisted Minds takes the compound.
And it's just an edge here. They're going to have just a little bit of time to heal, to get the loot, and to get the rest off as well. As we see this next circle pop here, are we going to send on the TDM hill, or are we going to have a benefit to one of them? Bluestone coming out too. We are going to be probably centering, on the TDM hill here. A little bit of a benefit to the team to the east. Looking to be a great game for Godlike and for Falcons. And Team Liquid, under so much pressure, they end up going out here. Smith has pushed them out and gotten the 2 kills on Alo and Luke.
Poor old Tian, he's got to figure a way to get into the circle. Supers have been pretty proactive, just kind of using each one of these little mini dips where we see the fields and the farms going to be out on in this flatlands, and they just keep kind of bouncing between different angles to keep it under control. Petrichor Road's going to be down to the south of them. See Falcons just trying to fight for more center control on this. They've got a nice little, convergence point on both sides of the hills that leads directly into the big hill. The big hill itself, of course, just kind of a sightline break, so the north can fight and the south can fight, and it's really just going to be the guys that are playing to the northeast and the southwest getting some vision on a bit of both sides. So Falcons and E-Arena trying to set up around that.
Now Twisted Minds with their approach here, trying to take that last quarter of the northwest side of the circle here. Myth is really looking, trying to see if there's more, but it's going to be difficult for this approach here because Myth has a really good spot now. Utility's being committed here to Chewy, and he got just behind that Dorito to try to be safe for a while. Now look at Myth. That's a great bait for Twisted Minds. Send a car in, get one guy in. Damage is being done here now. Scabby finds it with their a huge amount of utility being committed to this one here. Did not expect 4 nades to get one guy down, but more is being committed now. That's 6, that's 7 nades being committed to 1 knock and 1 flush. They're going to be using everything. Almost got another one.
I mean, those are just beautifully read nades. Realizing how the approach was going to happen, Kiss, the rest of the squad starting to get a lot of attention in this northern area. Tian just trying to get into the circle. Twisted Minds just wanting a moment to reset and get themselves back together. Petrichor Road, though, are finding some successes onto Supers just to the north of them. This is going to be kind of a convergence point where there is no more dips to really play. Just to the north of it where you have to deal with Twisted Minds, and nobody really wants to deal with that. So Supers trying to find something. They're going to go down. Chewy finds it with the Panzerfaust, but it is not done yet. They still have to keep dealing with Tian, E-Arena, and Twisted Minds, and of course, Myth, if they want to get into the circle.
Petroga Road now trying to find that last player. 17 Gaming with a nade, with some utility. More shots come in. Kiss finds them actually from the off angle. And now it's down to just Twisted Minds and Myth to see who can duke it out in the Northwest to take control of this one here. Tycoon on the other side finds Godlike. LFP goes down to utility.
Looks like it's going to be more of a commitment into the Twisted side. They just want to get over the side of the road. So Petrichor Road going to be kind of dealing with Twisted Minds much closer range. But Tulins and the crew look like they're very focused in on to what's happening with Myth. I haven't seen an example glance this direction too many times. So Falcons now getting control over this little ridge into the east. It looks like down to the southwest, E-Arena is going to be trying to make a play for more control of that hillside. Petrichor Road with the smokes down where Twisted Minds are playing from. We're just getting closer and closer by the second, but the circle has abandoned this position. So it is going to be Myth trying to hold back both of these squads. And I think that Twisted, yep, they've now finally spotted out Petrichor Road in a full way. And that is going to be Chewy down and flushed.
Tulins can get more. He actually gets it. Petrichor Road down in 7th place. And now it's down to them to see if they can get more kills, potentially onto Myth here, as they are bound to be pushing 6 kills total here. Matt is huge for them. And Example and Batulins are 2 fantastic players, but it's going to be hard to push Myth.
E-Arena is starting to take control over the pathing to get on top of this hill. That could be problems for Myth the longer this goes on. Alpha's still just been chasing circle after circle down here. Nades just keep popping next to him. Not going to go ahead and get the flush on it, but Falcons still in control of the east, and it's going to be Godlike just trying to hold back Alpha. Car and a bomb got to pop off as the nade does connect. Alpha has one of their players go down, and E-Arena wants a bit more out of this.
Really being proactive with this, taking so much control of the western side. Already 2 guys on the hill as well, as they can put even more pressure onto APG here. Great shots coming in from Larix, connecting quite a bit here with the 4X MK. Silence on it as well. They're not going to fully realize exactly what angle is in. He might be able to get some knocks and flushes here. Now Batulins in the smoke. More utility being committed from Myth, but they cannot have a lot left.
Just Twisted getting this close is a victory in and of itself. With the nade now starting to connect, Kiss goes down. Examples playing the angle back behind all this, but Falcons realize they're taking shots into Myth. That's a big problem. Now you have to figure out how you're going to deal with the close range threat as well as the controlled angles on the outside of it. Myth, who had so much territory control over here to work with, starting to lose it, as it is just Twisted slow and steady approach. The Terminators walking in and just denying anything that Myth can have. It's going to come down to Baron, the guy that has just been stacking up the points right now for Myth to hold it and realize exactly where Example is going to be pushing in from.
A little bit too much utility being used for Myth. They could have used it a little bit smarter and maybe have gotten Twisted Minds out to be that last team. Now they're just on a defensive maneuver here, and they got everyone staring at them. Baron might be able to get one. It's going to be difficult. He's going to push through the smoke potentially here. Could be smart. Scabby with the full 3 gear and the Fam has 2 could really make a huge dent in the armor of Twisted Minds.
Toss coming out, throw off the pacings just a bit further. Shroomsy actually going to be the guy that gets knocked on the Batulins. The hard work that Twisted has managed to put in just to get into the face of Myth, being denied at range. Nuren's going to try to get something out of it while we were watching what was happening there. The Falcons tries to get control over one side of the hill, and it's going to be E-Arena on the other. Batulins tries to go for something, but no, it is going to come apart. Baron's going to find out everything that he needs over here as E-Arena. Falcons now start fighting for the high ground. It's going to be Godlike and Myth already in tatters, as it is going to be Hillside for control of the rest of the game.
Yeah, great approach here from Falcons. We might actually even be able to listen to their comps to see how they're approaching this one. They have a huge chance for a win.
Porter right now with the FAMAS and one's on blue. Can we nade out this guy on the Porter?
I don't have
on the front of the
yeah, I have one. On Porter, you said?
Yeah, he's on the front. I'm throwing it uncooked as far as I can. I have 3 nades still.
It was fucking perfect. It literally landed on the Porter.
Yeah.
It blew it up.
Yeah, I naded as well. He's on the crate. There's a crate on blue. He's left of it for you.
I'm digging in.
Push the guy on blue. Might cast the running right now. Still stand across maybe.
Not L, I think solo is crossing to us.
Okay, so focus on the hillside, but Falcons have to deal with Fana still alive. And it looks like Scappy is going to be a bit more aggressive on the Falcons' positioning. E-Arena having much more breathing room. Fana does spot out Shrimsy, so the convergence happening on the Falcon. That means everything is starting to come up roses for E-Arena. They're starting to get more of the high ground control, and they're getting assistance from the fourth parties coming into this. And Falcons, they just have to weather the storm. They have to get their meds back up and get ready for the firefight as they have to storm the top of this hillside, and they have to keep dealing with these guys on the side. Tickleton going to be playing to the north, trying to hold back Myth, and it is going to be the duo of Gustav looking down, looking at Fana, and really kind of seeing how this is going to set. Tickleton can't move out of this position that Myth is watching.
Yeah, they're getting really pinched in between two. Fana's delaying everything for them, and E-Arena is just reaping the benefits of all this. Also looking for Fana potential to try to get a win here. This would really put the pressure off from Falcons one side here, but they need to get Myth off. They need to get Godlike off. Otherwise, they are going to be a big third party. Even Myth got the rest of this. Stun grenades come out. Scabby with that Famis here. Really going to be able to do some damage if they get the angles off from Falcons here. They're going to have to disengage just a little bit. Maybe get some cars in too. Gustav's been spotted by Fana. He's still holding from a great off angle. Shots come in now. He's down to 1 HP. Utilities being committed from him. Kickstart goes down as well. They're being pushed from so many sides here. Good utility though from Patong gets Fan out.
Gets the knock on Godlike, removes them the fight for first, 58-53, and it looks like Myth's making the focus on the Falcons because they know where they are on the leaderboard. E-Arena can make a storm up the leaderboard with themselves. Trimsy trying to make sure that he stays himsy as the smokes are out. Scabby playing this right into the face of Falcons. 2 players still up right in the smokes, and E-Arena becoming more bold. They're running in as well. Path and Pong finds Tiggleton as Falcons are just getting crunched down on. Myth now in vision from E-Arena. They're starting to get punished. Baron, the last one up. The jukes between the two is E-Arena. Still has 4 up, 9 kills. This is a big game for them, but how are these solos fighting? Myth goes down. Trimsy manages to hold it. Can't get any more as E-Arena takes it in the end.
Oh, what a game that was. So unfortunate for Falcons to be pressured both by Godlike and from Myth. E-Arena holding that ridge perfectly to ensure that this chicken dinner was theirs. As we bring in Toffees and Mark. Toffees, what a game from them. Almost impossible for Falcons to win with pressure from all 3 teams at the same time.
You know, you said at the start of the game, this is a Martin classic. You do want the bun, not the meat when it comes to the burger. And the Falcons were the meat, and they were right there in the middle. They got stabbed by the out. There was even some condiments when you saw. There was a little tomato in the corner named Fauna. You know, there's a bun over there on Myth, and there was just nothing they could do to get through that. So props to them for getting the points they needed to and surviving. But E-Arena capitalized the position. I think moved in really well from the outside, Mark.
Yeah, they did move in, and it was the timing to play off that point. They knew that actually there was a focal point onto Falcons, and Falcons, even up to that point, was controlling that whole east side so well, and just kind of working their way across that sort of Tego landscape. In the end, obviously, E-Arena did hold, and it forced Godlike and arguably Myth to take a fight towards our Falcons. But also, on the other side of things, if you're Myth, you actually want to try and get rid of the Falcons first, and I think that's why we saw them charge in, just to try and get the additional placement point.
Get them off of that stage. And it did seem like everybody knew, hey, Falcons in the middle. Let's not overdo this. Let's kind of pick everybody off little by little. It was a game of fights early on. A lot of tough rotations here. We saw sort of that VP chase 17 turn into a cluster fight over there. And then people getting run over left and right. A bit of chaos at the mid game on Tego matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a story of 2 different hillsides whenever we look at it, because it was the early game fighting for that one major hillside where we saw VP, 17, all those guys. And then it was just kind of vying for control of this other hillside between E-Arena and the Falcons at the later stages of it. And it was just so about timing and making sure that you're getting the proper pacings to set your team into the right spot while navigating a very open in-game circle, if you really look at it.
You know, Avenger, I think I heard you talking a little bit and saying that you thought that was Falcons' game right around the time we got to that sort of 5 or 6.
Right.
You think, what could they have done differently? Is there anything, or do you think it was just a matter of the way that the circles fell out or something like that?
Yeah, as we see Arena here, the way that they approach that side of the TDM hill they had is extremely good. I think the problem was for Falcons, I think there's 9 teams left or so, and I was like, if the pizza corner that they had, that slice was perfectly cut out for Falcons for their approach. But the problem is if you don't have that last side where you can play fully safe to either north or east or something like that, you got Godlike on the east, southeast, and you have Myth from the north, and you could hear Tiggleton say as well, I'm going to nade it. It was perfectly here. It didn't get it. And they didn't want to commit all their utility because they needed that for the E-Arena fight in the end. So they held on to a couple of nades. If they got Myth out, that was their win condition, because then they could have pushed up on the northern side and then taken E-Arena out on this spot. Nothing to take away from E-Arena, but it was a perfectly played out game for them as Godlike and Myth was focusing on trying to get Falcons out.
All right, and there's your man of the match. Pathompong going to go ahead and get that. Let me see his stats at 5 kills. 449 damage, not too shabby, but I do think you're right. It seemed like E-Arena was also aware of the Falcons' win condition and let their opponents do some work for them. Because you saw that sort of open fight where you saw Falcons fighting two directions, Mark, and it seemed like E-Arena was more than content to just hold the superior position and let that unfold.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just that position, as Mark is saying. They just held both those side teams, obviously, as we saw, was Myth and Godlike in their position, because they knew eventually Falcons had to work their way around. They couldn't come over the top. E-Arena would get the hold on that. So it forced those three teams to kind of clash. Once they start clashing, numbers will fall. It's very hard to keep sort of bodies up in that environment. Despite it is the TDM and you've had ample amount of practice in that exact area, it's very difficult to survive on the side of the hill.
So E-Arena came in today in 11th place with 26 points. Off the back of this win, they will jump up into third place at 48. So made in Thailand, E-Arena Falcons up in the top three. I don't know what's so funny. I can't figure it out.
It's
Just the
funny
pop
that
off
they
the
jumped.
arena.
Yeah, you know, go from
similar to
11.
last week.
They're going to do the exactly same thing here. They're going to be like, okay, well,
Okay.
day one, decent. I guess we're just going to kill everything day two and win the whole thing once again. But yeah, Myth still with a 10-point lead down to it. I'll still say this, though. Great game for E-Arena. There's nothing to take away from the win. They got a huge amount of kills as well.
Yep.
And that kind of slice of the western side that they're able to approach onto this hill here, it's the exact perfect execution for them to win the whole game. And the pressure that they kept on to Myth to kind of force them alongside the bridge towards Tiggleton and Falcons made the delay for Falcons perfect for them to win the game.
And I also want to chime in there that E-Arena actually had the harder approach onto the hillside versus Falcon's side. Falcon actually had like a little bit more of a ridge line to play from the rice paddies, whereas E-Arena's approach was a bit more open. So if anything, the fact that they managed to corral the other teams like Myth and keep Godlike held back, that's even harder work that they had to put in.
So as we get ready for game number 2, we're going to be headed off to, I believe, the Dusty Dunes. We're going to send Matchup and Martin back to the green room, and we're going to prep up because we are now officially in game 7 of 10 in the race for lifting the trophy as well as qualifying into the grand final of the circuit championship. Now, this is a big game. E-Arena, who was at the middle of the leaderboard, is now up at the top in third. But what that means is two things. First off, be scared of the White Rabbit, but also anyone else could do that right now. Sorry, we're going to the grassy patches, not the Dusty Dunes. That's it. Anyone else could do that right now. This is that moment where if you are somewhere in 12th or below, you saw what E-Arena just did. You've got to put the pedal to the metal, right, Mark?
100%. This is your chance to take it. We can do it in the best of 5, potentially, but you've got to be aggressive while you do it and have that smart play. Match number 7, flight path is an east, as we will kick things off on the Milta Power Station and then all the way in the amazing Zaki. So we favour a little bit more of the north side of the map, up to the northeast, but everything's up for grabs, and we do know we're going to have Gen G and Team Liquid fighting it out in Yasna.
I think the teams are going to be ecstatic that on the final angle, it sounds like, I was going to say, well, the plane path is not military, but apparently it'd be hilarious if it was a military plane path. We'll remake here in just a second. So it looks like we're going to do a little bit of a remake. I don't know if we'll pull the guys back in here. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. If they want to come back, they can. I don't really care. So here, let me ask you this question, Mark. What happens if E-Arena wins a second time? Do you think they sign the plaque again or just put X2 and walk away, right? Because they'll be side by side on the platform.
Big game moves by putting an X2.
Right?
It's a big statement. It's a big statement, I can tell you that. Or just a copy and paste over. Or look one panel, just a little arrow pointing back to the additional one. But yeah, let's bring the guys back. Obviously, the guys are making a remake. What do you think? Do you think, Martin, that the guys should put like +2 or like a little look over there?
I'm actually not sure if they brought that plaque from South Korea because it was a perfect hexagon, right? There was a plaque on each side. So did they ship the whole hexagon stand that they had? And they're just going to have another one on the bottom. So it's just going to be on top of each other. Because then surely if you win twice, you get another plaque on the same side that you already have one on, right? So I'm not really sure. We'll have to
That's
see.
what I'm saying. Can you imagine? I mean, the flex, right? Like I assume you'll end up in a Crafton headquarters, right? With it sort of immortalized, and everyone comes to look at it when they're touring, like, oh, look at those 4 stingers. Why do you think they put X2? Oh, they won twice in a row. But honestly, that puts you in really good company, right, Martin? Like, who else has gotten back-to-back PGSs if they pull this off? Twisted Minds I think that's it, right?
Yeah, Twisted Minds have done it, and again, doesn't matter anymore, right? We're looking at this year. I want to see
I'm
more.
saying, imagine the company that it puts you in, right? To say that you are now at this stage where you are in the same company. Exactly. And Twisted Minds, regardless of how they do this year, Mark, I feel like they will still be immortalized as one of the great rosters in PUBG history. Even if they never rose again, they will never be forgotten for what they've done.
They will rise again. Don't be saying that. But I think there's the divide. Obviously, look, you can etch out a PP market, and that Twisted Minds is there, right? I still want to see them, and I think we spoke about this yesterday. We see them kind of working their way, they're adjusting to the changes, they're putting their hard yards in, and as a result, now they are looking a lot stronger. I think they're fixated and focused now on the end of the year. But I will throw this out now. If Twisted Minds do not make a championship and end a really big start, especially around that PGC, do we need to start questioning whether they are the team that's going to hold everyone's high standards?
I think, man, this format shift has been tough. It has been a tough year for a lot of our teams. And I think Twisted Minds. Well, because
you put the hours in.
But no, yes, exactly. Go back to that interview at EWC when we talked to Nixie, and he was like, it's really good to see that the grind paid off. And I think that's really what the difference is these guys came out, VP in particular, and was like, we're going to grind. We're going to play pubs. We're going to get in the game whenever we can. And I think with the way the meta shifts so aggressively, those are the payoffs. I mean, there was a time when I don't think you had to pub as often as a player, Martin, because I think it was so the scrims and like the consistency and the meta was very, I don't want to say stagnant, it sounds negative, but very flat for a long time. And I think now the guys who are grinding the LMG meta in public right now are going to be 3 steps ahead when it comes to pro play in a couple of months.
Right, but we also have to remember, I guess everyone's forgotten already, as it was the 2 first finals of the year. PGS 1 and 2. Virtus.pro didn't make the finals. And I guess I would rather have, if I'm missing 2 or 3 finals a year, I'd rather have it the 2 first ones where there's less amount of points available. And then they won that big final, put them all the way up to the top, and now they're obviously holding on to the overall in terms of their PGS points standing. Got a second place last week. By the grace of that last game, that a huge run back where they were 4th or 5th and were able to grab that second place. They're obviously happy with that. But yeah, winning Esports World Cup was a massive one for them. But you cannot deny that if you look at anyone but, let's say, Virtus.pro, and maybe even not put 17 Gaming in there as well, we have to remember they won in Astana as well. I think there's a huge gap between, let's say, Virtus.pro, 17 Gaming, and Myth, and then the rest at the moment. Sure, Soup has been good, but they've not been as consistent as we used to see them. Remember that year where we had Soup in every single top 3? They were super consistent. Like, the consistency is very high and very low quite often.
I get that. Though. It's just like at the restaurants. You never know. Is the soup going to be good or the soup going to be bad? But either way,
you have to get the soup.
You still got to get the soup. All right, we're going to send you back out here. Thanks for stopping by.
No worries.
Oh, imagine that. He came for a second and now he's gone.
Matt. Goodbye, Matt.
Like a fart in the wind. All right, let's get back to the map. It looks like the airplane is in the air, and it could be military this time, Marcus. It has dramatically shifted from south to north.
I feel like you caused a network issue. Like, you called military, and suddenly we've got a game remake, and now the flight path is in the weird place. Not
Dude,
just
it's
one
a
hot
noble
drop,
battle.
but we get 2 now. Alpha versus Twisted Minds. Obviously, Team Liquid versus Gen G. Double hot drop though. Plane path southeast up towards a north central. We'll wait for the zone to pop.
All right, do really good play-by-play. Go.
Yeah, that's you. I thought you was Karen. Twisted Minds obviously on the downside. Alpha needs to get a position, but they are a little bit further afield though. But look at this on the outside end. Gam the Expendables. Tanvu going to look in on this one. Perfectis doesn't have the vest. Neither does Petordins, but he also doesn't have the helmet. Example will breach his way through in the first kill, but it goes on to Twisted Minds.
Very nice. They open the fight. That's a classic example. That's an example of how to play. As he comes out, looks up to the high ground, gets back inside the garage. They're going to take a little bit of time, get some extra loot in their pocket. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Alo has gotten the first knock on the Gen G hot drop, but Twisted Minds and APG, once upon a time vicious, are going to have to finish out. APG locked up inside of this house with the grenades, and it's going to be a 1-by-1 clear. I don't like how spread out they are. They get the back knock. Blue's down. That's bad news. And again, Perfectix. What is happening?
Oh, good play. Lou knew he was coming. He had to get safety. That ridge, that wall is not going to try and help him. It's down to example Batulin's example again. Level 2 vest, but he's only got the level 1 helmet. Has to be cautious, waiting for the jump out, and he jumps the wrong way. 70 when he's going to fall. And Twisted Minds, they're not at the fight just yet.
All you need is an example. 80 HP. He's going to try to make a play here. He's got the peek through the window. He knows where he is. A little TPP peek. And now he's up to the high window. Going to try to make a play. YM Cut is downstairs. Duck My, as we like to call him. Gets the flush on Perfectix. And now he's going to try to go up to the stairs and take the fight to Exampola.
He has to work the fight, or he has to go for that res. On the other side of things, though, Gen G Salute was going to get a vehicle. So he's joined back into that fight of Yaz. And a little bit round the robin here for Alpha Gaming. Gamma Expendables are going to hold, guys. Zone is pretty much in the middle of the map. Obviously, this bridge is in. Example gets it sprayed, gets some damage done. He's going to go for that very, very quick res. And that there is a lucky find for Alpha.
Right, he got tickled a little bit by Example, but now Example's going to be all on his lonesome as APG is going to have the lower floor. While Example may have the high ground, Tycon is also locking Batulin into this house, keeping eyes on him. He's not even trying to peek him. He's just calling out his location to the boys so they can do work on their own.
Yeah, that was that kind of 2 versus 1 scenario. There's a really good play here from Alpha because they get to keep him at arm's length. They know it's a 1 versus 1 in this scenario, but they've also got, as I said, the number up. It's a 2 versus 1 in that garage house. They just need to figure out how can you push Example, because he's not an easy player to go down.
He's not. I will say, as you look at that map, it starts to shrink. At least it's going towards the middle. Gen G and Liquid have sort of come to an impasse between them. Example, not so much. Gets the spray through the smoke. Does a little bit of damage, but it's just an iron sight UMP. The boys are in. The hunt is on. He jumps. That's a kill. Example gets 1. He turns to the left. He's got 1 man left inside the shadow. He gets him. That's Example. They're gone.
That is 2. What a play from him. He worked into a different angle, backed up though. Alpha charged their way in, and now the tide has turned. 2 versus 1 though. Twisted Minds now trying to take on Tycon, but Jordan though has to be cautious though. He knows there's a gap, but Example has to be disciplined when it comes down to ammo. He's got a little bit more remaining. Now he's the one overwatching Tycon.
Oh, Tycon.
Oh, here comes Gam.
Well, of course. Why not? Go away. This is a really fun one for you. Get out of here. I'm tired of the third parties. I want to see this play out as Batulin example. Have to take on Tycon the Great. But you're right. Gam the Expendables is here. They need points. This is the right play for them.
It's the right play. They do need points. They are in 16th place in the grand finals. It is match number 7 though. Tanfu has been overwatching. I suppose if you can take out a Twisted Minds, you will be happy. And even Alpha ahead of them on that leaderboard. So Tanfu just taking his time any more closer, he's going to start giving away those sound cues. And Batulin obviously is sitting still. They are waiting and watching. So not a level of aggression here from Twisted Minds. I think both teams are happy to wait this one out.
Yep, play it slow, especially now they got the idea that the Gammers are here. Gam, come on, man. Here's a relook at the highlights from the last game. God, what a time. At least we got the pip here.
Yep.
So I guess we'll cast the pip.
Picture in picture for those that are not aware. We're going to keep an eye on that. It was a good game. I think Falcons would be a little bit disappointed. I didn't quite get the win, but it was difficult for them to kind of close out. It's Jacob. Again, lots of early kills here from these teams lower down on the leaderboard, eager watching, but it does have a massive impact. Myth need to try and dig themselves out. Obviously, confirmation done. Scappy now down as well, and anyone's legend is making everybody else a legend because Myth is down to 1.
They're doing real good. All right, here they come. Destroy. I think it's with the Panzerfaust. I can't really see. He comes up. He's going up the stairs. Nice shot.
That's it. Myth out. 16th place for them. That is huge. Oh, and there comes another one. The game after game. You can tell we're on day number 2. Tiantan gets sprayed across. Supers, though. The boil was too early. Now they are out of this round. Nice. Another team falls and another big hit. The Supers, they're looking for that big game now as they will charge forward, but they charged out.
Meanwhile, let's watch Pathampong get this kill. Good work. He was the man of the match. You know that?
He was.
That means he's got one more mom.
That did make me laugh. You got 10 mums. I'll deal with my wedding island, bless her. Eerie, though, they did close out their first game, and it did show, obviously, 11th up to, was it 3rd? What a play from them. What a play. And again, I think that will shine the light on a lot of these teams, and maybe why we've seen the aggression dialed up, because one game can change it. This leaderboard is super tough.
Just win already so we can go back to the game.
Get over with. Come
on, Padawan, get this fight over with. He's like, oh, I'm looking left, I'm looking right. And that's the part where Falcons, they get that myth kill. And he's like, oh, I almost got the swing around. He did some damage, but didn't kill him. And that's the end of that. All right, we're back to Batulin. Strategically waiting.
He is waiting. I wonder if he's heard. He's now checking around. So I think he's had sound cues on that north side. So, you know, he might be that filler for the sandwich. They do need to move to zone. It is phase number 1. Falcons have closed the east bridge, so they are looking over this way. A couple of shots come back. Alpha Gaming, no need to move after they took that 2 versus 1 on example, but did fall. I think both these teams will be looking to try and get those blue chips. I think it's also why we might see Gamma Expendables playing in it. If they can close out both of these teams and make sure they don't even come back, it could be huge.
All right, looks like we are going to do it still in the sort of how do we respond and plan phase. Gam the Expendables down to 3 and still sort of hunting. The problem is after they came in to get involved, there's just not much left point-wise on the board, right? Because you APG down to 1, Twisted Minds down to 2, and that's going to stop their fight. So if anything, I think Gam just really slowed down the ability of all 3 of these teams to get rotated out of a spot that really is no longer relevant in this game.
Might be relevant at the moment. Example definitely has heard something. So obviously he's on the loop. Batulin's holding. Tycon obviously on the move as well. When this one opens up, we're going to see the guys start working through. Here's that replay. 17 game. And obviously, yeah, quick 1-2, done. Final player, clean. And yeah, Supers will not be happy with that because they could have seen that as their chance to charge up.
Yeah, exactly. When you're in 5th place and you're staring down the barrel of that, 58 points to climb up and catch Myth, that hurts. That said, Myth being down is really going to open the door for everyone in that chase pack to make their moves and get something up and running. We'll take a look at that circle as it closes down here. It's going to be right gobsmacked in the middle. Honestly, we joked about going to military, and I think these 3 teams took us seriously, but the circle had no intention of following through. So this bit of a stalemate, I think, continues for just a little bit here, though they can't justify it because, again, you just got to go. Gamma Expendables in particular still has a win condition. They could come out with bigger points in this game if they left instead of looking for these 3 kills. The other 2 teams, I totally understand why they will stay here and fight it out.
Yeah, that Drew's down as well. So Gamma Expendables have committed in. And I think this is now a full lock. I can't see it like moving. I know it's going to be slowed down, but there is a big play here for a lot of these teams. They can't overcommit. It's like a game of chess. They've got to take small steps, though. And the first one to step, though, is Tycon, and Tanvu will find him. So Alpha Gaming will fall. Now they get a read, and obviously they know where Twisted Minds are. Tanvu unable to get the grenade into the window, but now they're going to try and dial up the pressure and close this one out. But I worry they might make a mistake actually saying that Glory's high ground has huge amounts of damage towards example, and now they can overload Batulins.
So Example's now in a really tough position as he's pinned down. I assume a replay is on the way, but if it isn't, we get to see Example get knocked. Hong F gets a nice little play there. Example's going to go down, and he gets him. So Example was so focused on the high ground that it allowed him to get backstabbed here, and I don't think there's any rescue. Yeah, the Expendables is going to charge forward, make sure they get the flush, and I would assume leave once they get this kill.
Yeah, they're going to overload Batulins now. They have to get rid of it. I know it's phase 2, but they've got the read on where he is. Batulins obviously he's going to have limitations when it comes down to meds. I think he might even try and eke this one out as long as he can and go down towards blue. He does jump out the back, though. He can try and salvation anything. The grenades go forward. Here's the jump out, but doesn't know exactly where he's gone. He's trying to isolate a 1 versus 1. Now, he might have that opportunity. The example will be giving him the read that there's a player coming from behind, but the fact he's not medded is screaming out to me that he hasn't got anything in his back pocket.
Oh, 100%. All right, we got Hong F. He's the killer of Example, now looking to finish him off.
He hasn't looked.
Hop over the wall. There's no one here.
He's got no meds.
Oh, he's
trying to dodge zone. He's trying to dodge zone.
No, he's not. He wants to flush on the way. That's Batulin. He gets it. He gets it. He gets it. He gets the knock, but I should be able to save it just in time. I like that play. He heard him moving. He had 8 hit points. He tried to make a play. Gam the Expendables comes out on top at the end of this, and they will get the res and get out with 3 people.
Okay, 17 gets DNS out. Myth is already out as well. Twisted Minds out. Alpha Gaming out. So again, a bit of a mix-up when it comes down to that leaderboard. Opportunities for the teams, and Falcons get a bit of a blessing. Gustav is in zone. BRDM, though, has a locked in, and they are going to have to try and get the rest of those team into that sort of southeast corners. Everyone will trap back. Anyone's legend pretty much in the heart and center. VP going to try and take the dock. JDG will go down towards that southwest corner and hold some high ground, but also take proportions away. So VP might be in a bit of an interesting situation. They've got to try and stop the push coming from the west.
Yeah, I mean, VP's going to be in a decent spot, I think, to do that, though. Park Pro going to be using the LMG meta already with that M249 as he just kind of blazed out a couple cars on the pass by. 17 coming in, a little bit of a spread out. Going to go ahead and grab the little house and just camp. You got Akan taking shots from the distance, but Park Pro lands it. So Geeky going to get a couple points on the board if they can get this flush. Immediately the smokes come out, and Logos looks like he may be rescued here as the rest of the team does slide around. But another shot, Park Pro on one right now.
He is. He's got the line of sight. He's juggling two. The smoke wall is out. They're going to try and get that res as Logos will crawl back. Something gaming, obviously, it's a bit of a distance for him. So Jawu, again, being held at the door at the moment. Geek, I think, eager to try and close this, but not eager enough to try and lose their hard cover. They're waiting for this next zone shift.
I know we're seeing Myth go out and DNS this early is incredibly frustrating for, I think, a lot of folks watching and the fans in Thailand, but it does open the door for E-Arena pretty significantly to do this crazy back-to-back, having them get out as quickly as they have. E-Arena on the top of the circle playing some pie slice while 17 is under duress. They did finally get out there to get that res on Lil Ghost. JDG locked up here as VP has done a good job of fanning out to hold JDG, and we'll have really no one else shooting down on them. But I will say, as we cross the bridge here, it was Scam the Expendables. They got stuck. They had to do that fight. They stole some kills. They got involved with Twisted Minds, but Falcons was waiting.
And Falcons have been waiting for a while. Okay, so let's be honest. Let's have a quick look at that. You can see the action. I think at this point, he's either, there's a part of him going, I want to die out to zone and not give the point up, but that opportunity, the cake right in front of him, he's like, yeah, that is a free kill. Let me try and get that flush. And just too short. You can see his reaction. He was either going to die to the blue, but he went to go out like a hero. And Batulin's my hero. But you can see the webcam. He isn't 100% happy.
Oh, he is unhappy. He is very unhappy. I've never done the hand slap thing, but I think it means grumpy. Kickstart got the BRDM. Going to go ahead and drive away. This is the car you want to get away from a flood Gen G with, that's for sure. So he's going to take his little Roach mobile and fall back to the farm. I feel like that's like a metaphor. Like, take the 3 RDM and fall back to the farm.
Wait and see. Gandix Swindles, despite losing one, they might have picked up that blue chip. And now they're working their way around towards Sharkfin. Obviously, Gen G have overloaded here already. They are collapsing as well. Zone is about to shift. Shifts back, actually, towards Falcons as well. So we hold that southeast again. Genji's not in. Grenade comes through. The second one hits, and Tamvu, he's down in the dirt.
He is down as D tries to see what he can get out of this one. Jam the Expendables have not been able to recover from that fight on Novo. D is now dealing with the last man, as it looks like Gen G is going to go hunting.
Genji is hunting. They gave up their position to come take this fight. Now the rest of the teams get moving as well. Team Liquid early rotation in, but they found themselves right in the middle of a bit of a bloodbath. And don't know where they're going to end up. Petrichor Road finds one, Godlike finds another, and anyone's legend also getting involved. JD collapsing towards VP. We saw that kind of stalled fight earlier. For Cowboy, he's waiting for that smoke to bloom because he's the final player remaining for Team Liquid.
Nice spray there. Unfortunately, Cowboy got left out in the 5. Nice push here is Virtus Pro. Curexy going to go ahead and take on JDG. Liquid eliminated out in the field while this was happening. Nice move by Curexy as the rest of JDG is coming quickly. He's got to try to get over there and get that save on Nixie, but I don't think he has time. Oh, needs
he's
forever.
trying to pop the smoke. He's trying to delay as much as he can. He's on the outside. M249 has on the spot, has to try and peek back, has to try and get some shots back to try and stop the movement, but he dances the dance, jumps over another grenade. Molly will go back one more time. Molly's going to be pretty good, forcing JD Gaming out in towards the fight, but they're continuing the pressure. M249 in hand.
You're going to have to accept the loss of Nixie as the double blue, or the blue comes out here, is going to lock him in. Curex is going to be able to heal through it as it's just one, but that will get the Nixie flush. That puts him at a pretty big disadvantage. Soul, however, Genji has arrived, and they get the knock on Nons, which might actually buy the space for Curexy to back out of this.
Yeah, hello, Gen G. What is this? Fight
Where did
after
you come
fight,
from?
push after push. They went for the scenic route. They went for the coastal drive, and they drive straight into some kills. There's one confirmed. Second one goes down with the grenade. Soul makes that rotation round, trying to expose the angle, sees him in the blue, but waiting potentially for the rest. And now he gets the opportunity, and it is a clean sweep for Gen G.
Snip, snap, whap. That gets him. Soul, the man, the myth, the legend, carrying Gen G and doing it again with 2 kills so far. But VP is going to use this time, I think, to just get out. Kurexi is gone. Absolutely dips as fast as he possibly can. Gen G came around the coast and got involved, and that was probably the coolest thing that VP has ever had happen to them.
They're
Kurexi
licking
was
their
cooked,
wounds.
man. There was no way out of that.
Yeah, 100%. He was gone. He got a blessing as Gen G came rolling in. 2 kills for VP, but they, licking their wounds, had to move now back towards that original compound that they were holding. Zone is about to go, 13 seconds. Most of the teams have been caught on those rotations, so we are down to 9. One more stall before we see those placement points, and we'll wait for this next zone shift.
Big nade goes off. Petrichor dodges the first one, but catches the second one with his face. And that is the end of the Petrichor road. Every road must come to an end, and unfortunately, it's with an explosion. But now Opon's trying to make a play here. He's going to cover his friends. Smoke launcher loaded up, wants to get his man covered because he is just caught in a field while teams are driving around. What an interesting spot. This is not, it doesn't feel strategically viable to park your car here, but who am I to judge that? There we go. Move on.
Even before they came from that north side, they were above kind of godlike in Team Liquid, and obviously Team Liquid opened the opportunity, opened the door, so to speak, as they sent themselves into where they thought was safe. But you know how that ended, and then it allowed Arena just to rotate in and around this sort of northeast corner. They've got the edge of the ridge, they've got that tower where we see some teams kind of leave farm and play into. All they need to do is keep, I suppose, Team Falcons on the east at bay and ensure a team like Godlike don't come wrapping around. But there's no reason for them to come that way because they've got the compound.
Absolutely. Bean up here on the top of the hill, going to take a look over at Geek. And, Geek signed a Korean team, and now I have to watch Geek fight Gen G all the time because I do feel like this. The regions, you ever notice regional violence seems to be a real issue in these late mid rotations. It's like they think they kind of move to the same areas out of practice. It's very strange to me, but I find it interesting. Falcons, again, everybody's just building forts in the middle of the grass and hoping for the best. The BRDM going to be the key to this one.
Well, Falcons got that next step in block in front of them. They've got that little dip they can go to, so they're keeping an eye on it. They are on a split. Tig is on, I suppose, the north. He's in the compound. He's outside, and he's just keeping an eye, making sure Arena don't kind of sweep in on that east approach. They are in the cars. They are getting ready. Gen G, though, setting their next target. Now, it looks like it's going for a defensive play, maybe over the other side of the road into the compound. And a 17 gaming have to make a play in here now. And they were hoping for a fight in the compound. No one else got involved. And now they take on anyone's legend. Himas will go down. Tianta takes a tumble, and he's going to fall as well. Huge raids come in, and anyone's legend looking to hold. Oh, they're done. They're cooked. They're out.
The nades, the fire, the crashing, the burning. Wenbo, the last man standing, but the fire keeps spreading. Himas gets the final flushes, and 17's crashes and burns.
Interesting. Gen G also take that leapfrog approach as well into Falcons' next step position. They actually do fall. It comes from Akan from the compound in that west corner, but they also get moving as well. They're going to try and hold the outside edge. Falcons now know that actually Gen G has received some damage. Double blue zone will come in. They're waiting for the blue, but Gen G out active here, trying to cause some damage. Roll the BRDM in. Come on, kick. Come on,
Falcons loves the double blue. They nailed that perfectly right on the cover position that they had. Kicks are going to use the BRDM for a little bit of scouting. He's not going to overexpose it, but he now can call out every spot Gen G got, finds a good spot off to the side, can take a couple of shots, and goes back to pass, I think, some items over to his teammate, and then back into the roach.
Yeah, he knows they're in now his zone. They're going to work their way in. They're going to stack on their cards. Falcons, this is the next stop. Tig still keeping an eye on Arena because when this fight erupts, so they might come back this way. Grenade goes over the top, going to cause some damage, but unable to get that res. Second one should get the confirmation done. Kick will end that one. Good play from them. It's a nice delayed approach. It's not an overextension. It's not a rush here from Team Falcons.
I like this. Slow, steady, measured, and mostly kickstart. Like, that's the 3 keys to this fight. Everyone else stand back, kick. You just do a little bit of scouting. If the man's not in the air, he's in an armored vehicle. It just seems to be the way that they like to play this. So great job there. I did have our reporter on the ground listening to the comms for the Falcons and telling me that right now, Shim seems to have an assignment where he's keeping things clear, getting the team like focused on Gustav's calls, and I like that he's kind of in this position to say, all right, guys, calm down. Gustav, what's the play? Gustav leading this team into a upper echelon in first place.
Well, yeah, the Brotherhood becomes the Brotherhood of Steel. They are now in first place. They're just waiting out. They see E-Arena, so they're repositioning now, as I think E-Arena waiting for the play from Falcons into Gen G, so it wouldn't be too surprised for them to also leapfrog in as they wait in the wings. GK on the adjacent side, though, has taken the fight towards Gen G, so they've gone a little bit early. More utility coming in, but it's just a little bit too short in the first and second.
Just short. Normally I cheer for the underdogs, but when you're throwing grenades, I just cheer for the hitting that golf shot. You know what I mean? With them sitting in those holes. Kickstarter doing a little more scouting. He's got the nade. This is the golf chip we're looking for. Tosses it up. Going to be dinking it right inside. Boom. Goodbye. Cover. Lucky that thing was there. Here comes the second one from Kickstarter. Can he follow up with the first? It is. Rolls in. Go to your home. Here comes the car. No, Tingleton. Too much aggression.
There's too much aggression. Not just one, Soul put two to bed. Kick rolls in. He's the last remaining player here from the Falcons. Geeke here, and look at that. E-Arena, they were waiting, they were watching, and instantly pushed into the same area.
Oh my goodness, it's falling apart. Kickstarter has to abandon the BRDM. The holes are not safe. We saw Gen G come out of nowhere again. Kickstart down to Godlike, where everyone is here.
Everyone had to try and play in. Godlike again extend out. They get the high ground. They get the ability to look in. The Mortifier now raining through. Gen G becoming the next casualty. Potentially is E-Arena looking to try and take the leapfrog ahead, not just of Myth, but of Falcons as they look to farm the kills.
Falcons were so excited when they pushed in there, and then everything came off. The wheels fell apart. Geeke now under serious assault. Gen G buried inside of the kerfuffle. And here we got Destroy off in the distance with a wealth of targets. It's a target-rich environment for this man.
It's a target-rich environment. Reynolds Legend, 13 kills. Talk about, again, another game, rags to riches. And there's 5 teams now remaining. Geeke, unfortunately, one of the early adopters to moving in. As they came on the south side, they've exposed some angles, and Anyone's Legend have activated some demons within inside of them. So they're looking to try and claim a few more.
E-Arena, though, dude, these guys have not caught circle. They've been just working the outside. 2 kills, but consistently coming in and backfilling their way into the circle. And now here's Gen G stuck in that spot with E-Arena looking to put some points on the board and continue that climb. They're getting close to being able to catch up to first place. If E-Arena, who is 4 strong right now, can continue this slide, it could put them in that poll for the repeat, which I'm pretty excited about seeing. Anytime a repeat's on the table, I get gassed up about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's not taking anything away, though, from the teams that have already fallen. It was all down timing, and E-Arena has been kind of the king of the timing. The White Rabbit will work its way in when it chooses to. Gen G, they have been subject to a lot of punishment at the moment. They are still surviving. Someone being maybe more in that southeast corner, keeping Geeke at bay, and also keeping that White Rabbit in E-Arena from coming over the hill. So shifts back down towards that south side. Godlike now need to leave the compound, but Godlike still have the high ground. It's Anyone's Legend I'm worried about. They seem to be on a driving force.
Does that say 14 kills? Does that say 14? Am I reading that right?
Yeah. There's no technical glitch there. That is an outstanding game so far.
That is absolutely wild. The teams that had to find points are out here finding it right now. That does 800 damage. Man of the match smells like it's on the way for this guy. 6 kills, 800 damage. And you know what? Let's just add another one to that as EJ01 gets donked and dropped.
Let's get dropped. That's always trying to create the angles. Now has to work his way back in. Papro has to keep his boy back up. He has another target as he's trying to shoot rabbits. And doesn't quite get the connection he wants, but safety back into the compound. Now, for Anyone's Legend, they have to keep an eye on Godlike. They want to ensure they sort of get pushed him round towards the east because Godlike, he's running out of terrain right now.
Himas is out there playing aggressive and a very angry Bush, looking to get some more kills. Opon's trying to get some shots. Ooh, he's going for the toes. He's under the BRDM body. Can he get that finish? He sees him, but not quite close enough. I like this trench underneath the UAZ, trying to make a little play. EA is playing very tight. I like this, actually.
Yeah. They're happy that they want to wait for the fights to happen in front of them, and they're more than comfortable coming on the 3rd or 4th party. The read of the train and what's happening in front of them is outstanding, and that's why we've seen them jump up. And again, it's why we're seeing them in this kind of top 5 scenario. They lose zone one more time, but so does everybody else. Every team now needs to make their way in E-Arena. Well, Rabbits dig holes.
His name is Nerns, and he was built for the mines as he surges forward with that pickaxe. On the other side, anyone's legend, him ass getting re-up. There's C4 in a car. These guys are unhinged.
There's lots of targets ahead of him.
Here they go.
What if they do a Tommy and just stay in? He might value his life a little bit more. Let's see if he goes for the jump. He does go for the jump into the blue zone, but out the blue comes an explosive action. There's one. There's two. They're running. GK is not safe.
Boom! And then they follow. They tried to get that grenade to disarm it, but it didn't work. In comes the follow-up grenades. The blue zone stopped them. Not GK on their heels.
Oh my God!
There's the push bash. Park Pro's gonna backstab though. He gets the one. He gets the two. He's gonna go for three. Park Pro trying to make the play, but Delwyn on the roof is trying to save everyone. Can it be done?
You have to see. He's going to go for a 1 versus 1. Bean stands up as well as he tries to stop the push. As I said, E-Arena, they want to come in. They want to sweep when all the chaos is unfolding. Godlike sits in the wings. We go for a top 4. E-Arena looking to try and get the bodies back up, get the bodies into safety. Anyone's legend completely dispatched by the M249. And for GK, they get another body back up. Park Pro, he's a pro by heart.
That M249, he's been training with the new meta. He dressed as a bush and just hit in the open. It was unexpected. E-Arena is now under assault, but they got back. They're back to 3 strong, and they are just consistently pushing into the chaos, coordinating their move forward, and sticking around like roaches in a nuclear apocalypse. Apocalypse?
We'll take it. I'll take it. But you're right. They just wait for the fight to happen. They're not active on the fight all the time. Like, unless we get to the late game, we've seen it even early. They've sort of waited in the north before teams have to make the move or teams start to fight. And the arena gets involved at that point. Now they draw some eyes back towards Godlike. They're going to run out of compounds, and we are going to flatten the playing field. Arena, well, they survive out the 1 blue zone. And for Park Bro, he's going to fall. It's a 4 versus 3 versus 1 versus 1.
If by godlike you mean around for if by godlike you mean around forever without really doing anything, this is exactly right. They have just been hanging out, waiting for their chance to make a play, and now here they come. Bonnie gets that knock on Opons. Tony gets the knock as well, and godlike played it so quietly, so carefully, and waited until everyone else was limping to get up on top, pull some kills, and get themselves a very, very important win. Let's get Matchup and Martin back in here. Mark, that was a surprising endgame.
Yeah, look, and first game, E-Arena mid-pack, 11th, jumping up. Godlike, they were in 10th coming to stay. They're jumping up. You can see Big Head, though, giving a big confident boost for them. They were in the wings, though. They didn't have to engage too much. They had the compound, and it was the same for E-Arena on the other side. I just like how these teams are playing. Let the guys and girls fight in front. When we want to take the fight, we will take the fight, and Godlike get the win.
Martin, it's a good win strategy. It's a hard one as a fan to get excited about, but it works.
Yeah, and you know what? With how Big Head is celebrating a game win, I really want to see them win the whole thing. Because imagine how ballistic he then goes. He's going to be jumping around like crazy. But what a difficult game for a lot of these teams to play. And also, that last circle shift, nobody was in. Everyone had to make plays. And what a great effort for anyone's legends to try to make it happen. But Park Pro denied that. Wow.
It was a crazy game, a lot of fights early. This is that 17 soup fight that we didn't get to see fully, but I'm sure you guys will get to watch it at the beginning of your next match, Matchman Avengers. So we'll circle back around to that one. I know, right? And then we got JD Gaming up here. They did actually a really good push into VP, Mark. I was impressed with the aggression they brought. And if Genji hadn't shown up, I think they would have won that cleanly.
Yeah, that fight was like brewing early on. VP obviously moved to the boatyard quite early and kind of stopped JD Gaming coming in. And with that zone shift, obviously JD came collapsing straight in and caught actually VP out in a 3-1 as they kind of had to lick their wounds. But the salvation, as you say, for them was Genji. Fight after fight, especially on the south side, Genji were making the pushes where they could. They saw an opening and they took the opportunity. Oh my days! What was that?
I think that's called trap shooting.
Oh my God.
What wild.
That shot though on Shrimpsy was illegal. Wow. That shot. I tuned into Shrimpsy's own stream and I saw his reaction live. Not a great sight. A sight for sore eyes, you could even say.
Dude, your description of that as illegal is probably the best description I've ever heard. Like, somebody give that man a ticket. But then we get the Park Pro backstab that completely dismantled the aggression of anyone's legend and just left Godlike Matt the ability to just run on the final circle. So, I mean, you know, again, do what you got to do.
Anyone's legend was just making a sin, trying to find more kills because they knew it was going, like, the circle was going to be pretty hard for them to deal with. And it felt like they had momentum on their side from the amount of kills that they had. The push was starting to feel clean, and then Park Pro just turns it back around in the beautiful play on the hold, and suddenly Delwyn is all isolated by himself and just watching the rest of the game go down.
Man, what a match. If you are playing your PUBG bingo card, I'm going to remind you guys of a couple things you can mark off. Godlike sliding into a final 3 without a lot of combat. 17's perfect crash, really just getting flushed instantaneously. Liquid dying on rotation, mark that one off. A Millie hot drop and a Batu desk slam, all one after another. So really, I think you might have that bingo. So go ahead and check those cards and see if you won the big prize. We should definitely have bingo. That 17 crash, though, Martin, was, I don't want to say terrible. Like, I don't know what other option they had, but they got nuked out of existence within 14 seconds. That was wild.
Yeah, when you have these situations where Hail Marys is your last option, you always get these fantastic moments. And then Panzerfaust and arm shots kind of cool. That was one of my favorite replay packages I've seen so far. We got to give them props where props is due sometimes, you know?
Well, it sounds like we have an interview with Gunnar, the coach from the Falcons. I think they tried to get Shrimsy, but he's still shaking from that headshot. So let's see what Gunnar has to say.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the interview. We have Gunnar with us here from Falcons. Hello. Let's start question part. So, how do you satisfied with, like, do you feel happy with Falcons' performance so far?
Yes and no. We've had some games that we just kind of like tossed, but we've also had some good games that we probably shouldn't have had. So I'm not entirely happy, but I'm not like very sad. But you know, that's PUBG.
Do you think you have like enough competitive performance to win a championship in PGS 8?
I mean, I'd hope so. I think we're in like, I don't know, first or second. So I mean, I would hope we do.
Okay. Which team, like, do you think is still a nemesis or regard as a threat for you?
I think right now it's like Myth and EA since they're playing really good. EA won the last event as well, and them doing good here obviously shows that like there's some sort of consistency that they have within the team. So I think Myth and EA right now are the current threats.
All right. If you use one word to describe the play style for Falcons you have right now, which word will you choose?
One word. Probably calculated. I think we're trying to play a little bit more calculated since the meta changed so much. We're trying to avoid all like the bullshit early, and not lose anybody or die. So we're trying to keep 4 up and then hopefully give ourselves a good chance to win in the late game.
All right, I see. So calculate more and win more. See you in games.
Yes,
that's our fun interview. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome, Nixie and Bami. And so before the final match started, what was the mood inside of the team?
We knew that we needed some points to qualify, maximizing points. I don't know. Like, we kind of knew who was in front of us, who was below us. The mood was like, I don't know, like, that we're going to qualify now. Yeah, we didn't really think about it that much.
It was a bit of backhead that, like, after we killed GK that we probably qualified, but we weren't 100% sure. So, like, every point mattered.
Like, when the final animation came through, like the winner with the chicken dinner pop out on the screen, what's your talk to each other?
We qualified. Like, yeah, we're hyped. And last time we were in China, we kind of ate it every day.
With the explosive device that it tried to get in for a C4 there. Oh.
And here they are in 5th place. I didn't give them a lot of worship on that win, but they are really holding on consistency.
And that's kind of the thing whenever we look at Godlike is they're always going to try to find a way to make it into the later stages of the game. And can they do it in the last couple that we've got going on here?
We're about to find out. Let's get ready to rondo as we get ready to drop out of the plane. 3 games left to play, at the end of which we crown a champion of PGS hate from Shanghai, Thailand. You can see him assembling the cars. This is where Neox is made, but more importantly, it's where legends are born. Let's send it over to two legends in their own right. Our casters, it's Avenger and Matchroom.
Flame path cutting right through the middle of the map, so everything pretty much on the table. Might see a couple little dust ups for cars, but I think that this is mostly settled terrain. So the squads should be pretty fine coming into this one, as this feels like the pace setting game, right? We see it's very close on the leaderboard, Martin, and it could kind of go anybody's direction. Can you clutch up when you need it most? Because this is all about trying to get that establishment for the last couple of games.
Absolutely, and with Rondo and an Eastern plane path like this, it's going to be difficult for a lot of teams to get a headshot, though, from Shrimzy. It's just a spray down with Uzi. That's insane. Almost got a kill on Godlike that was just able to get a chicken dinner. If it wasn't the curse from first to last, sometimes that hits real quick, and luckily he's able to escape here. And it's a 2-2 split for Godlike. Hopefully they're able to loot and dip, because they need to.
So nothing else really brewing out of this for the time being. Jim G twisted. Ooh, the circle pops pretty heavily over into the east. So Jadina City going to barely be in it. River cuts through. We talk about it a lot. There's going to be kind of the gate keeps just to the west of Mayron where the rivers come through. And there's a lot of different choices that our players have to look at. You have to be assuming that this goes over to the east. But man, Avenger, every time I say that, it feels like the circles just like to hardship the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's after we turned off the land ratio, does feel like water is very, very attractive to that circle. Also, the little lake in the middle there, just south of Mayran, is also very interesting. I've had a few circles and ranked around this area here. It actually plays out quite amazing when you don't have the land ratio. There's a lot of really good high grounds. There's a lot of really good low grounds where you're able to hide it out and kind of play out from the lower spots. So looking forward to see how this is approachable from APG and from the Expendables. They have the highest priority right now. With a home turf circle, surely they're going to be able to get up into that 20 points mark, as GT only on 13, 11 points behind 15th place.
I think you had a great topic whenever you look at the hillsides that are kind of into the north, east, and pretty much most of the eastern section of the circle. We do kind of have it move down to a bit more of a flatter section when we move to the more western spot, coming out of Neox Factory, who's just barely inside the circle. To link several other bridges that you can kind of cross if the situation kind of develops. But already emergency pickups look like they're being ready and called from Godlike, as Godlike's just trying to keep momentum up off of that last game. Supers, interestingly enough, over here in stadiums, going to be one of the, I guess, harder approaches just due to the amount of teams that are stacked up in front of them. There's not as many options to rotate into this circle for where Super's going to be playing unless they go for a really long southern wrap.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting one. Early pickup for them here, but Heaven's still able to get a full 3-vest, helmet, utility, and a barrel. Like, they're going to be absolutely fine when landing from this. And if they're smart about it, landing like kind of north on the eastern road of Judena should get them a lot of cars. So they're going to be able to get that one rolling from the get-go here. Matt, this might be a fantastic game. A lot of teams struggle to get into this one. We might see a lot of pickups, as we do see a lot of teams kind of trying to get their way in there. Falcons moving in from the northern side. Myth potentially going over towards Jadena. We do have a lot of bridges that's kind of available to a lot of the teams coming in from the south and the southwest side. So let's see how they approach this, as we have just 2 points difference on our 3 podium finishes, and with a lot of teams chasing from 17th and 4th down to Petrico Road with 46. Just 4 points in between that next middle pack there, Matt. I don't think I remember that close of a final day with just 3 games left to play.
Been having some pop-offs for teams and kind of taking control of the leaderboard right around this phase. So if E-Arena Falcons can find anything, try to get some distance, this could be a circle that could provide it. But to kind of go back to what you were talking about, the pacing of the circle is very interesting because Godlike are on the hustle, man. They got that emergency pickup early. They have target priority positions that they are wanting to go for, and it does look like that might be kind of where the Expendables are going to be playing at right now. At least 2 of their players for Godlike are kind of eyeing a pretty decently close position to the Expendables, but it looks like the Expendables are going to be pulling off of it, so that should go Godlike's favor. Most of the other teams a bit slower in rotate. And I think that kind of leans back into what you're talking about with the emergency pickups and also just the nature of the river. Everybody's kind of waiting for that circle too. So that early hustle coming in from squads like Falcons, the Expendables, Godlike could pay off big if they pick right. Chewy, though, spots out EJ. And finally, the, I guess, kind of cold standoff that we had going on over here comes to a resolution.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Chewy just being able to grab this quick and easy, Geeky now have to consider, we're going to try to go for the rest, or even did Chewy steal this little chip that he's able to just grab here? And yeah, again, coming in from this western side is going to leave no priority for Geeky, so they might as well, if he left the chip, just go try to get the rest, as they are close to a rest station as Akana's driving into. Now over to JDD here, as they were aggressively chewing gum. Now they are aggressively chewing on some of the center compounds, currently setting up shop here just close to ABG, Gen G, and also the Expendables. Falcons coming in from the north. They have great setup here to come in from the kind of northeastern side, where a lot of high ground, a lot of compounds are still available to them.
Just going to go ahead and steal that one in pretty close to the Mayran and JDG positioning that you were talking about just a moment ago. Gen G to the west of that, and Alpha also just going to be down to the south. Twisted Mind's going to go for just a vehicle push, running right through the convex point where the rivers kind of touch. Don't quite come together, but it's going to be Gen G that's, I don't want to say gatekeeping, but holding down that position. They're keeping an eye on it. Sloot's going to be pretty close to the focal point, but Twisted's going to lean more to the north. That means that 17 is going to be wrapping most likely back behind them, as they're going to be keeping an eye on that. Down to the southwest, we've got Anyone's Legend trying to make some crosses over the river. VP just going to use the Jadina City bridge and take that and get over there pretty fast.
This is going to be really interesting because a lot of the teams here, Matt, like they are in the eastern side, and I feel like if you come in from the west, you are setting up shop because you don't know what is going to be ahead of you. So they're hoping for a western shift. And if we do end up going close to the kind of river that we've seen a lot, these teams might benefit even though they had no prior coming into the circle here. So I'm really curious to see how that approaches, as both Petrical Road and 17 coming in from the side, and on the southern side with VP, everyone is crossing. So they're not even trying to hold the open opportunity of this bridge to be crossed in the later stages.
Ooh.
We do have a lot of really good positions here. But again, once we get closer to where the circle ends, the positions inside Mayran and some of the higher grounds here, they are going to be weeded out if we do go south.
Falcons getting themselves a good spot in the circle and also getting themselves a present. Twisted's going to take the northern section of Mayran, and that is going to be JDG taking a couple of pot shots. The split from JDG means that they are going to be playing to the east of where we see Twisted Minds playing, and also the south. So it's going to be mostly on to the duo in the south to make sure that Mayran doesn't fall completely into Twisted hands. Gen G is taking a couple of pot shots as supers are coming in from the north. They might also come into this general vicinity, but I think that Twisted's already kind of settling into the building. So if they take a position just to the north of Twisted, it's not going to be too problematic for Twisted just quite yet.
Small here with some shots towards Twisted. It's again just poking at it, right? And with the circle popping just in a second here, let's see where we do end up here. It's gonna be very donut heavy here. We end up on the eastern side. Sure, there's a big lake in the middle that's very available to a lot of them. APG is gonna be leaving that eastern compound, so Falcons might be able to roll up into that and hold that down. But again, teams are gonna be fighting on the south side of that river, on the north side, and Junggu is still fully available here.
You can see the VP manages to get just a bit ahead of Myth. They were fighting for this position. Nowhere else really to go. It's going to be JDG make the commitment. Twisted trying to hold it. Everybody getting pulled in different directions. And JDG going to take that fight. And that is going to be Twisted Minds out early in the game. But it's coming at a bit of a cost for JDG. External firefighting coming in from the north. That's going to be supers that we were spotting just a moment ago. Do they want more of this? It looks like they are going to go for Mayran. Are they going to continue to push down onto JDG? Or are they just going to kind of let this one happen? I think it's just going to be position, but I mean, supers, if they keep playing more into the west, they could bump into Gen G.
Yeah, and this is kind of far north of this circle here. They end up probably having to take another drive at it. Maybe it's just hoping to see if they can third party this JD fight. It wasn't happening quickly enough. Smart by DNS, but yeah, a play for position to get out of the circle more so than anything here, Matt. So let's see what happens with that one. As Falcon is now driving towards, they saw a single man from JD also leaving. They might be able to go out and get some points. They're taking shots at him now, and they have this free to themselves. They want this high ground ahead of them, plus this compound that's going to make the car safe So let's see what they end up do here. If they're actually leaving it. They're taking this high ground. They might scout this compound even closer towards the center of the circle to be free. And they might be able to pull up into that. But still, we have this lake in the middle. I really hope we end up being close to that because we have 2 pillars there as well. If anyone with an E pickup grabs that and gets on top of it, a match from, it's going to be really interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, I like the high ground positioning coming up from Falcons. It's going to do them some favors, like you're talking about the compound down below. With the lake kind of being between all of this right now, it also could make for some very intriguing firefights to watch as third parties could just be happening over the lake, denying out different pushes. If we continue to kind of follow in on this donut strategy, is it could make for a really interesting late game rotate that teams are going to have to deal with. Just a ton of the center being entirely eaten up by something that's near impossible to traverse. Looks like VP is going to call an emergency pickup just to be safe with Mayron. And going to be Myth over here kind of watching. It's like JDG does find themselves the ability to go for the rest.
Yeah, they heard DNS come in to Mayran, so they didn't want to run through and try to get the rest there. So they had to go out and do it out on the northern side here. Suse able to get in his teammate, that's important. And the next circle pop in 15 seconds. VP is really hoping for a center shift. If they get this high ground I was talking about with that EP to one of the high pillars, they could be reaping the rewards so highly. As we see the replay here, how JDT was able to just completely dismantle Virtuous Twisted Minds. Is that another death slam? I'm not sure. It's a face palm instead.
Yeah, it's a lot of frustration. New circle. It is going to have the lake up to the north, so it's going to be the more open sections down in the south. VP not going to take their emergency pickup. Myth looks like they had one ready that they're going to let pass as well. So Falcons going to have to leave that high ground that they had control over just a moment ago. They're going to be wrapping more into the, I guess, more not Myth Baron, just Baron open sections of the eastern positions for the circle. We do also have supers as well as GD Gaming stacked on top of each other. E-Arena with very few options. They're going to be following in back behind JG, who's just kind of sending it through the circle, and they're having to deal with the gauntlet. 17 one side, Team Liquid on the other. Anyone's legend going to follow after that, and there's just nowhere to really go. Gen G is starting to get picked off.
And stolen as well from Lookarox there. That's huge. Gen G now. Big shots come in. Luke finds Salute. Gen G's losing so many members. That's so unfortunate. And now we're down to just D and Soul. There's a full 17 rosters now looking at this. Not everyone is here, but still, Xiaowu Chan hard to face these 2 players as their amazing mechanical skill is going to shove them through here. More utility being committed here. That might be a knock on. Yeah, that's huge. Xiaowu with the utility being committed onto Soul, hitting him with the nade, got him low enough that he was going to get hit with the Molotov and bleed out from that. So now with a knock here, they're going to have to go for the rest, and Xiaowu's pushing with the Panzer.
Yeah, this is just an easy read. Panzer on the other side for D. Looks like he's just going to be patient on it. Panzer peak battle going on right through the doorway. Who's going to be the one to get it? Pacing for it, starting to set up. Doors open. Peeks between the 2, and it is Xiaowu that takes down D. Gen G is eliminated. E-Arena watch that happen in front of them. They're like, nah, I don't think I'm going to go that far in. Instead, they're stopping around the lake.
I wonder if Myth is actually taking the Z pick up here because it's the pillar on the high ground is actually a little bit closer to the center. And as we had a southern shift, technically there should be a higher chance that the next circle doesn't go back-to-back hard shift south. So they could be sitting high on top of that hill. That would be pretty interesting to see if they decide to take it or not. But Road has set up shop here. This is an interesting one, Matt. Look at that lockdown with the pickaxes too on both sides of the river. Oh, Mortar might come into play from 04 and B2.
This is a full defensive strategy coming up for Petrichor Road. Okay, here comes a couple of the rotates as it is going to be JDG over into the east. Falcons trying to hold them back. JD is going to be coming into that more open section where it's going to be godlike, maybe keeping an eye on them. Expendables as well. A couple of options, but not a lot of things that feel super great over here. They might stop just right along this ridge before they send it down the hill. It's going to be the more open sections, but it's going to be really on to Kickstart to make sure that he doesn't allow them to stop. While this is going on, Super's also wrapping into the west. They're going to end up pretty close to Team Liquid.
Yeah, great headshot as they drive away 50-25 and 53 damage. They actually jump out to try to get for a heal here to see if they actually try to follow the shot here. Suse looking at it. Let's see where the next circle goes. We end up going river. Myth hating themselves right now. They should have taken that E-pick up to get on top of the pillar.
Okay, so the more open sections are what gets denied out. Now it's time to make some magic happen. If you're finding GK, godlike JDG on the regroup. Falcons look like they're sending it back over to the lake, and Alpha is going to try to stretch away from where Petrichor Road's at. They might converge on top of each other, and Team Liquid, I think, might be leaning into the strategy that you're talking about.
Oh, that would be huge. Is it gonna come in time though? They're probably gonna have to blue zone hill just a little bit as this next circle is pushing and starting to push in just 24 seconds. Sure, it takes some time to close behind them as well, but they're going to be jumping in and getting on. Nobody's third-partying this. DN Super is not pulling up on them to throw nades or anything, so they might be safe. If they're able to get up on top of the biggest pillar here you see in the middle of your screen, they can get so many points, Matchroom. I'll really be looking forward to seeing how much they can get out of this one.
Go. They taking it. Yep. Full commit. Everybody's going. They're up on the helicopter, and they're going to be eyes on that pillar in front. No doubt. There is nothing else to go for here. A couple pulls already going to be happening. Looks like they're going to just try to time this out. Different angles of approach. Actually, are they going for both pillars? They're going for a 2-2 split onto this. High ground. It's a bit greedy. Punished on one side. Cowboy does go down. Luke also just getting insta-flushed.
That's what happens when you take an E-pick up too late. Everyone else is going to be too close, and everyone's going to be able to get some shots at you. Pretty Curdy, the sole survivor, actually, as he's on the other pillar I was talking about, the taller one. He might be able to get a few placement points, but I don't see him going too greedy to try to get a lot of kills from it. Now, Falcons coming in from the northeast. They are backfilling the positions of APG, and Cowboy is going to get flushed here. Now, Utility's being committed from APG, and Simon is helping from the other side. APG has a smart split, helping on multiple sides.
Expendables also trying to get a piece of this. Falcons need to take it fast. There's just a little bit of rock and a couple of cars where they're trying to work around. Shrimsy wants to get this nade onto Alpha as fast as possible. Set up, underhand toss comes out. Kickstart going for a much longer wrap around. Going to be using the pillar to set up. Nade's now starting to fall and duck by in a ton of trouble. He just has to run along the coast. That is going to be Kickstart that spots it, gets him down. Simon T, the last one alive, and he's to the north. So nobody else over here, but Falcons I don't think, know that. So they're still looking for the last player, and he is nowhere to be found around them.
Oh, that was so smart, so well executed by Falcons. What a way for them to push in and take space here. And all these now, JDT's under immense pressure as Myth is committing a lot of utility to get them out. And JDT's out in 14th place, Matt.
Okay, we're starting to see that, I guess, lower mid-pack start to fall out. Myth, a bit of a bad spot to work around, but with JDG now eliminated, they still have to kind of limp their way in. Mortar's starting to rain down, not going quite far enough to connect as now eyes are going to be moving into a new circle. Where does it go? Keeps to the south. So that is going to be the guys that are more into the north section of the lake having to move. Poor old Simon T up there is still just trying to get vengeance back onto the Falcons. He's going to have a lot of trouble finding it. Super's in a lot of trouble. Anyone's legend rolls right up on top of 17 Gaming, and they want nothing to do. The 17 going to go for a regroup right next to the center of the circle.
Abort mission, and 17 leaves that compound immediately to get an even better spot towards the center. Kiss now actually getting knocked here from Doc Juice, and anyone legends are turning around to make sure that they're the only team in this compound here. We could see another pull-up or a third party from DN Supers as they are driving closer to the Younggood split compound here, actually continuing to take the road here alongside the southwestern side, trying to backfill the spot of DK into closer of where VP is as well. So really difficult push here for DN Supers, but they're going to have to make a move once again.
VP just watching GK, who needs to get in the circle. GK now watching Supers, who needs to get in the circle. And anyone's legend just kind of watching a bit of everything that's going to be going on over here. E-Arena still needs to regroup as Petrichor Road does. They're just right on the outside of the circle as well. So a lot of squads just right on the edge of the zone, but no easy way in, as this is going to be the more open sections that they're having to deal with. Simon just trying to see if he can sneak his way through. Taking a lot of blue zone damage, but the last survivor for Alpha, and it's just continuing to just be a rough situation for Alpha Gaming in general.
Yeah, he's just going to die out here now. DN Supers GK with this inevitable fight we were talking about. A BDM is in play as well. Is Alpha Gaming likely going to be dying soon here? Simon T being found by Lyric. Look at this DN Supers pull up here. EJ's in there too, driving straight through the smoke. Oh my God, EJ's going to have to move. And the BDM backflip from Akan as well. Park Pro comes in too. Deal going down to Nate, and Rex is also out here. Noxa coming in for multiple. Human down too. GK under the pressure here from Virtus Pro as they're third partying and pushing this one.
Just GK coming up big there. I thought that the kick flip coming up from the the RDM was going to be a problem, having the last one up for the supers, and he's just trying to fight his way through everything that's going to be going on in front of him. Khan roaming through the smokes, knows roughly where he is, jumps out, goes for the spray. Supers do get eliminated, but DK in tatters trying to get into the circle. It's going to be Anyone's Legend just trying to wrap it back behind all of it. VP on the other side, and Khan, well, you've got the BRDM. There's going to be a lot of bullets flying into it in just a moment.
I did not agree to being the patty on the burger here. That's so unfortunate for KK and DNS. Third parties from both VP and Anyone's Legends destroying their any opportunity to get further into this zone here. Khan's going to have to leave that BRDM to try to get out. Maybe put some utility towards Anyone's Legends now. Some shots are being thrown out and more nades are being committed to this one here. Pretty well played by Anyone's Legend as they're leaving this spot here. Khan has more nades. He's going to pop a first aid and then throw even more towards Anyone's Legends as they're trying to survive by the cusp of this old circle.
The circle pop's great for 17. Godlike, Petrichor Road, E-Arena still just trying to push their way in. DK is finally eliminated. So Anyone's Legend now has eyes. They've got Delawin that's been playing in the compound, looking what's going on with E-Arena. VP needs to get in the circle to the south, and it is going to be Myth, GTE, as well as Falcons coming into the east. Falcons do have a little bit of a wrap that they can take around the pillar into the north, but that's going to put it pretty close to Petrichor Road. Poor old Kurt, the last one up for Team Liquid. He's got to figure out how to get out of that high ground situation and just not get absolutely piecemealed. As you saw, just trying to land on top of this was bad enough. Now trying to land on the ground from up here is going to be brutal.
He's going to look for points here. Surely he's realizing that if he gets spotted, he's just going to shot here. Maybe he can get a little bit of a flush maybe on Petrichor Road Shrimps. He found Tanvu here. This is a good opportunity for him here. And now with Pretty Curtis high ground, he's getting the information that might be a knock for him from the off angle there, from the up top. Falcons trying to get deeper into this one here. E-Arena under a lot of pressure. Opon's getting shot too. Xiaowu finds him, and E-Arena is out in 10th place here. That's our second place out. And now utility is being committed from Pretty Curtis onto Falcons.
It's going to be kind of hard to hit those. I was going to say that there's a couple of these little mini hill ridge lines that kind of pop them off to the side. Falcons not going to feel too good about that, just having somebody looming above them with nothing to lose. So looks like they're going to use the cars and they're going to run a bit more forward. Oh no, bumps into the other car, doesn't make it between them. Petrichor Road now going to get a little bit more timing on this one to take the shots. Nades starting to come out. Falcons though manage to hold together. They get this ridge, but they still have Kurt back behind him. Does he want to go for the shots, or does he want to just see if he can get out of that position, extricate himself, get involved in the later stage firefights?
They're like, there's a guy out there. He's really annoying, but pretty crazy on the other side here. That's kills. Oh, he didn't get it. That's so unfortunate. Again, the expendables out. Well played by all the teams to try to force these guys out. As Myth and Godlike were heavily involved in it. Gustav finds I-26. This is important knocks to get Petrichor out of this, and Falcons could maintain control on north. Curdy doing so much damage up top here. 500 damage and 2 kills, and now into the placement points. And with a silence on this, Shrimps, he finds both of them. Great push from Falcons. Huge here. Tiggleton finds Pretty Curdy on the top and sprays him down with P90. Huge play here from Falcons so far. 9 kills.
Falcons taking control of everything into the north. VP on the south on approach, feeling pretty safe. Anyone's Legend, Himas, the guy that has moved closest to the Falcons. Looks like he is getting ready to loom large on their horizon. 17 has just been watching all the firefighting going on around them, picking off whatever that they can find. Godlike kind of doing similar, but look at Himas's position, waiting to see if anybody from the Falcons wraps around this side. He does have the vehicle back behind him. It has revealed that there's somebody that could be over here. VP, much more dramatic assault into the circle that they're going to have to go for as the new circle getting ready to pop right now, and it does continue to favor the 17th position. Myth as well as Godlike. Falcons going to be very close to it, but Anyone's Legend and VP are going to have to fight to get in.
Yeah, they're going to fight for the same side of the circle, and it'd be extremely difficult for Anyone's Legend to do anything else than potentially a pull up onto Falcons or 17. I don't really see them pushing the VP spot. They have too great of a hold right now, but now Falcons is approaching the 17 position. 17 holding on to this for their dear life. This is a very, very difficult area to kind of lock down, but they have had so much time to do it. I think they have had plenty of time to use their pickaxes and set up shop. Look how defensible it is as well.
Just a couple of long-range shots coming out right now. No big commitment. Falcons keep dancing both sides of the pillar. They don't want to overcommit too much, but Hymas finally finds kickstart, and that is going to force Falcons to kind of reconvene on top of each other. Is that the go signal for the rest of anyone's legend? Are they going up into the north? Looks like they're trying to prep up the vehicles. Hymas is making a more aggressive play, seeing if he can set up anything else, but VP is now starting to do harassment on the tail end of anyone's legend. They can't get out of the compound. This has made Hymas even more isolated as he's gone for the commitment, and the timing is just not there. VP stops the plan in its tracks, and poor old Hymas, he's going to get spotted and flushed. Falcons finding success with the assistance of VP at range.
Yeah, anyone is just getting absolutely destroyed here from Falcons and from VP. A rough circle for them to push in. Falcons has to make moves as well, and VP has to get into this circle here, but they are shooting in the distance. And as anyone's legend is out in 6th place now, VP is going to have to make moves to get into this circle here. Falcons as well. Let's see what VP has to say on their comms to get into this circle.
Two different teams.
Falcons can play yellow line, I think, by the way.
I think I'm gonna use nades on blue.
Falcons are going right, running right on orange. They're flying down.
17.
Okay, I'm gonna make one hole from us now.
Yeah.
On
Is that
so many
because
nades.
it's OES, right? But the rock, no?
My nades.
If you kill the guys on range, we are fucking.
Lock one of 17.
These teams, we are fucking.
Lock one of 17.
If you kill these, we have 3 heads, boys. Okay, but they have to push each other next on.
Alright.
They're nading.
Survive.
I think they're nading.
One on bow.
Comes the push. Falcons look like they're going to be going for the 17 position. One player already down for 17. It is time to send it. Full clown car just jumps out using a little bit of the rock croppings, and that could be enough to eat some of the nades, some of the damage rolling in. Gustav does go down. Tingleton goes down. Good connections coming up from 17 to stop Falcons in their tracks. Big firefight also brewing down to the south, where it is going to be VP and Godlike right on top of each other. Shrimsy tries to hold it, but he does fall down. 17, 10 kills, and the north now belongs to them in full. The south looming and getting ready to pop off.
Yeah, and what an opportunity that VP created. That knock opened the opportunity and chance for Falcons to do anything. And that basically baited Falcons into doing a pull-up on 17, which was by far also the best chance that they had. But 17 able to repel that. And now in the hands of VP with 4 alive. Godlike has 1 knock. They're down to a 2-man. 17 lost 1. Myth has lost 1 as 1. Oh my God, this might be a fantastic game for VP to set up their victory if they can repel 17 from their center position.
It's going to be hard. I mean, 17's just been stacking kills. Them and Falcon have been feasting up into the north. Godlike, I mean, they're a bit too passive on this position. VP, Nixie specifically, trying to make sure that he gets that foothold in and lets the rest of the team unlock, just try to go after whatever Godlike is trying to set up. Other side of Godlike, of course, is going to be Myth, as they are the meat in the sandwich that you keep talking about throughout the day, because it is all about the third parties. VP starting to see it. They're going to roll right into Godlike, just jump up on top. Quick peeks around between the two of them, but LFP does manage to get the knock on to Luke Rux. Nade's now starting to come out. That's going to be mid-sided, and that is a problem. VP starting to take some casualties as the full focus from Myth is going to be on to everything, and it is just mutually assured destruction for everybody down here. VP and 17 finally get those last couple of shots, but it is now a very weakened VP having to deal with 17.
And Wenbo with the 10-2-4-9 pulls everything out and completely destroys VP. What a chicken dinner for 17. Able to withstand the push from multiple teams and players coming in from Falcons. VP, the shots and the knocks, and they're able to repel everything. Let's grab Toffees and Mark, and what a game. They were able to hold this one down, Toffees, and they did it well.
It was a wild game, whether it was the end game, whether it was 17 sitting, waiting, catching, and then killing, or the Falcons going 12 before falling down, or Park Pro, or Akan, I'm sorry, just showing us that he's a master of Parkour as he came out with the sweet backflip. That was a fun one to watch. It's been a good, fun day of PUBG, Mark.
It has been a fun day. And do you know what? It's been such a tight leaderboard. A victory makes a big change. 17 game in health. Their compounds. Falcons. My, oh my. What a game they had. 12 kills as they fly and they take out into 5th place. But yeah, look, there's a couple more games to go. It's 17 game with that victory. Again, they're keeping it pretty tight at the top.
They are. They're doing really well. But 17 making this big move was huge. I like this. You saw the Liquid tries to go to the high ground, and then Kurt becomes like this weird ally of Falcons for just a little while here, Martin.
Yeah, honestly, the backflip from Akan there, that was beautiful. But it's so unfortunate for Geeky because they actually had a great opportunity on this ridge to have an entry into the circle, but the third party from VP, then the third party from Anyone's Legends just completely destroyed that opportunity. And yeah, you want to be the top of the bottom bun here, and VP and Anyone's Legends was definitely that. But what a game, man. I was really expecting Pretty Curdy to get more of it, but then Tickleton just turned around and destroyed Pretty Curdy with that spray. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Sorry. You're just talking about meat so much. It's like being at a butcher shop out here.
I'm so hungry right now. Why are we doing this?
Right? Every time you're like,
lunchtime, guys.
Meat, burger meat. But honestly, I'd like you to meet the champions of this game. 17 played it really well. They had a good spot in the middle. They laid down. They stood up. But I want to also prop out Godlike. These guys keep sneaking into the final four, and they're still holding in the top 5 because of it.
Yeah, I mean, they find ways to get into a circle. That's the whole premise of it. It's just try to play a little bit of territory control, make it into the later stages. If anybody gets aggressive enough on you, then you just rebuff them as hard as possible. But look at this. 4 kills between a ton of them. Tian, a guy that we often see just absolutely dominating. You know, it's going to be putting up the damage this time as it is everybody else just finding a ton of work. And this is a big game for 17.
Big game. Chan not getting any kills, but also not doing mortars under trees today. I have noticed he's way outside of those tree branches as he shoots them. Wenbo gets 4, and Lil Ghost, it's like a return to PGS1 Lil Ghost all of a sudden, PGS1 Gen 1, because he has been really quiet over the last year or two, I feel like, Martin, and then all of a sudden, yesterday I saw some moves from him. This week I've seen him kind of glowing a little bit, and then here he is, man of the match.
Yeah, I was hoping for kind of a comeback for them to kind of be up and ruffle their feathers amongst the podiums. And here they win this one. They're going to be absolutely amongst that top 3. It's going to be cool to see how far they can take it as long as we get over to that overall after we've seen him here, the man of the match. Lil Ghost, yeah, once called the poltergeist of a few, we might be able to recall him that if they win this one here.
He turned into a bit of a Casper, but if the poltergeist truly returns, in time for PGC, that could set the stage for 17 to really surge up to the top. See that team at the top, 23 points, good for them. Falcons gets 15 with only 3 in placement, means a massive kill count. And then Virtus Pro also not willing to go quietly into the night. They battled their way back into contention, Mark.
They have 23. That's going to put them in 2nd place, I think. That's going to be a huge jump. Yeah, it is.
Spoilers.
Yeah. So look at that. Sorry. I'm trying to do my maths. 73, 75 for Falcons. Yeah, VP refusing to go down. They obviously get a little bit of a jump as well, so that puts them into 4th. Godlike refusing to go out as they continue to find their way. And again, they've fallen down the leaderboard slightly. That's only to make way from sort of that Virtus Pro, but that top pack is really, really tight now. And don't forget, obviously, we've got 2 more games, and it is how this ends up as well, how it kind of defines what happens next week.
It's interesting. I do love seeing a leaderboard where Falcons and 17 are battling it out for the top. It gives me nostalgic vibes, Matchroom, and it's fun to see.
I mean, it's these two they don't have a rivalry, but for 2 teams that don't have a rivalry, boy, they sure end up at each other's throats a lot. And it's unofficial, if not anything else. I mean, they have fought for drop spots. They feel like they fight in rotates all the time. They just have such a similar approach. So whenever it works for one of them, it feels like it works for both of them. And then they're even fighting on the leaderboard.
You know, we don't get a chance to see Pachinki again in this event, but we're about to see a Picado. Maybe they could agree just to drop in the middle together for good old time's sake. Top of the leaderboard battle. Okay, probably not. What do you want to see as we get into this game, Avenger? What are you looking for of these teams that have to make a push right now? Give me the fast.
The quick and dirty Miramar here I'm looking for. What teams are able to outlast each other? I want to see 4 teams having 4 players alive at the end, so we can go for a 4 instead of anyone dying all around 17.
I would love to have a 4v4 as we head to the Dusty Tunes. You heard Martin say it. It's outwit, outplay, outlast, outscore everyone else. You got to put the Ks on the board, get those placement points, and put yourself at the top, because today we crown a champion. Someone will become the grand champion PGS here from Shanghai, China, and we're excited to see who it is going to be. We're going to send the 2 lads out. It's going to be me and Mark bringing it home on the Dusty Dunes. That's a great plane, Mark.
It is not the game. Match number 9. We are on a best of 10. So this one and one more. Flight path that coming from the north down towards a south to southwest. And again, very safe. A very, very strong flight path. No Picardo hot drop, unfortunately. Everyone hits their normal and everyone's now out of the plane. So I'm interested to see actually where this zone goes. We have quite a lot of variation where it might end up.
It could go anywhere as the drops are going to come in. I like this, though. It just blows it open. I think too many times I've seen the last 2 games of these events be chaos circles. I really do want to see, as much as I love absolutely watching the players struggle and scheme and try to catch up with something weird. Never mind. We're going to Oasis. I was going to say, I like seeing things. Yeah, but I like seeing, I will, but I like the players to have something nice and in the middle and plannable. No one's training for Oasis endings, Mark. No one's going to scrim saying, all right, guys, let's practice our Oasis set pieces today.
To be fair, I've only ever had one since it's been entered in, and it was chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah, not well rehearsed, but those rotations around the north, we do have a lot of unplayable ads in north as well, so teams are going to have to get shifting as well. There'll be eyes on the sort of the prize, especially around the sort of high mountain compounds. Geek Out already on the move. Godlike already on the move. You mentioned in the break in between, Godlike seemed to always find that sort of late game, those late compounds. I think it comes down to their early rotations, and we already see him, as I say, shifting over.
All right, take a look at Gustav, the new IGL. I guess new. He was started at EWC. They said they had about 2 weeks to prep with him secretly, and tell anybody until they got there, and then reveal their new strategy. It's definitely more aggressive, got a little more send capability, but mostly it has freed up Kickstart to be in the air, to be in the not the Panzerfaust magnet called the BRDM, going and doing scouting. Now let's jump over to Perfectix. He is surrounded by APG and doesn't seem like he's got any allies nearby.
What's happened with these guys? Did they like fall out over lunch or something? They got definitely dancing a little bit too close. Perfectix, though, that one clicks dry. Needs a quick reload before he can get that flush. And now he might not have the time. Being isolated, we see this a lot, though. Perfectix knows he's out on the limb, and so do other teams.
Perfectix is. At least he got that knock to make it a nice even 1v3. And when Perfectix is up, it can be that, though he's already down to half. Ducks into the smoke to try to buy a little bit of space. And Duckmai finds him and knocks him down. Not much you can do. I can't even see Twisted Minds really pushing this. It's going to be such a tough spot. Maybe go for some picks, but surely they can't want to fight this.
Do you know what? I think at this position, the leaderboard, 2 games to go. What other options does Twisted Minds do? Looking to try and get their flush. Their barrage a lot 5-5-6 in towards that smoke, but the sandstorm will not help, but it does give them an opening as well. If they want to close that gap now and work towards alpha gaming, they can do.
Nice.
And an example, though, eventually closing things out.
I think they leave here. I think they were trying to get that flush. I think the dust storm almost ruined it for them. I don't know. You said what else can they do? But like,
you got Twisted Minds.
No, you have 3 players. You can play for the late game. Get a couple placement points. Win on a backstab. Go play a high percentage shift. But you're right. They bookended this.
He's going to see him. He's going to see him.
Yeah, that's true.
See his headshot. Oh, it's unlucky. He's making the dart. Which door he goes for, left or right? He jukes and goes left, though. And Tycon gets some damage on Lou.
Unfortunate. Lou's got to duck down. They did get the res beacon off. Example, would love to move in, and maybe that's it. Maybe they're hoping to save Lou's life and bring him back. It's not a bad play, but Twisted Minds, man, it hurts me to see him at the bottom of the board. You know what? Let's go look back at the last game. Let's see some highlights as we watch the fight in the picture-in-picture.
You can see 17 Gaming obviously making the marks up exactly all the cars they want to go. So good shout from them. It was a pretty chaotic game. There was a lot of high grounds. There was a backflip and beyond the end. What else do we want?
What else do I want? All right, let's you know what I want? I want to see an interview. I want to talk to Godlike Haven as we look back on this game. And we'll get you guys updated on what happened in the meantime.
Hello guys, welcome to the interview. We are having Haven with us here from Godlike. Let's say hello to the audience. Hello. You're doing really good in the Irango games because you're camped so well, like ninja strike from nowhere. How did you make that happen?
Like we just trying to wait the teams playing before us, so we can play behind them, and then we get the final circle too. Is like have a lot of space in the map, and we can play like that. So that's why, because we just show us in the final game and just win.
Yeah, you like control a lot of places in the map. But that's good. And it's like for Godlike, it's your first time to advancing to qualifying into the PGS Series final, right? How do you feel like right now? Did you satisfied with your performance so far?
Yeah, I'm feeling like very confident because we have a good mind. Like we improve every match. We can adapt what the game is saying to us. So I have a lot of experience in Lance and 21 the PNC, so that make a lot different with FP2. So we can play together a lot time playing together, and this make us be good here and play well.
Oh no!
Yeah, and the game is about start. So see you in confidence. How confident you are in games. Bye.
Get to your chair, Haven. You're fighting for the top 5 right now, buddy. That's what happens when your answers are long, Mark. You end up interviewing through the start of the game.
We're starting without you. That's going to be the buff.
PUBG waits for no man, whether it's meta shifts or game start. You better be ready.
Love it. Do you know what? They deserve to be here as well. They put the hard yards in. It's been difficult speaking to the coaches as well, getting here, making sure obviously it's all up. As I mentioned, they've got experience here. Tony taking that PNC, that's meant so much to them as well. So I like it. They're working in 6th place at the moment. They have the opportunity now to try and climb up. They need a good game here. And not as good as the example goes down. So Gondo putting into a headshot. Now they look to try and close it. Lou on the other side. Unfortunately, the Toolings went back towards the south because someone was working his way back over. And Kadunk, no, you shall not pass.
Not even wasting lead on the kill as he just gets him, drives away. Tycon's not even smiling. This is just business as usual. They expected this win. I still think
something's happened between these two teams.
Right?
They've been at each other's throats for a few games now. Every Orangle hot drop, and now the Miramars, they want to take a close isolation. Here comes another push over the Sandstorm again, providing the cover that's needed, but this time in the favor of Twisted Minds as they get lost driving around.
He's got the Panzerfaust. He's going to try to Panzer joust here out of the bus. It'd be interesting to see. Batulin looks like he is just I don't know, he's just mad. I think he's just mad. Like his car's just there. He's sitting inside of it. He's like, the storm is here. And now he's got a Panzerfaust.
JD Game is coming well away out their normal path in to come try and take this fight. They've seen the kill feed, so they know both these teams down the bodies. Batulin is also picking up a Panzer as well. Looks to try and take a 2 versus 1. He's to back himself now up the stairs on the outside edge. I think he gets a glimmer of hope. He has to be cautious though, as they are working their way in from the other sides. And yeah, here we go. Here comes the third party. That's going to give information not towards Alpha Gaming taking a knock, but actually an opportunity now for Batulin. He jumps his way in, the M4 in hand. M4 versus Uzi. He sees the opportunity, knows the player's down, but he hasn't got the heavy utility. He swaps over the Panzer. Now he's going to look for the charge.
Batulin's going to try to make the move here. He goes inside. He actually gets the flush on Duckmai and it slides around to the back. And I think Pow is just shocked that the JDG did this. They came out of nowhere, and now it's a problem. God, that's just JDG's been doing this all day. They're grumpy. They're grumpy third partiers.
You know, they hit and run as well. The zone shifts back towards that north side. Cowboy is wrangling up in the north as they were trying to wrangle a position now for Team Liquid. Super's obviously going to go for a collapse. Big 2-2 hold for them. Back to the fight here with Twisted Minds. They are taking a 2 versus 3. Someone obviously has entered back into the affray, but Batulin is on his own. Let's see if he can try and hold the line.
Hold versus 3. It seems as though JDG is the circle shifted. They're happy to just let this play out the way that it is. And Batulin now has to stand against a very tough lineup. He's still got the Panzerfaust ready. He's just going to lock in. I guess this is just a fight for the bottom.
I think Lou went for the recall. That's why he's taking so long. You can see him kind of on the outside. I think he's grabbed the chips and now he's going back to a recall station again. So Batulin is on a full kind of delay at the moment. The more time he can sort of suck up, it's going to allow Lou. So Batulin will go down. I think Twisted Minds will come out of this as a 3. I can't see Lou coming back to this fight. Oh,
that's awesome, actually.
That's an opening.
Yeah, that is a huge opening for him to try to make something happen. But you're right. If this is just a stall so that Luke can get that res beacon up and running, that's huge. Batulin happily sacrificing like a good leader going down with the ship. But maybe not. With that one knock, he opens the door to possibly take the ship with him.
Yeah, they've been fighting for so long. Like, you got to question the amount of meds. They're not going for the res. They want to try and get rid of Batordins as quick as they can. They do have a hold. Some obviously going to use those windows to try and get the information exactly where he is. Flash does go through from Tycon, but that Panzer is going to be dangerous. Again, the more times Batordin can hold up, the better it's going to be for him.
Down on the bottom, looks like we have Petrichor going ahead and wiping out Team Liquid. You can see him on the kill feed, so that's going on at the same time as we keep an eye on this chess match of Batulin with the Panzerfaust.
So, yeah, you can see now the blue chips are in, so that is exactly what Lou's done. He's medding. Again, I can't see him coming back here, guys, so expect Torrens to get to hold. Lou will try and work it, but Torrens doesn't need a helping hand, though, when he takes a 1v1 in the end. He's trying to get a med back on. He meds just in time. Now can he take that fight? It's only a bandage. He doesn't get the connection. Simon will end it. But for Twisted Minds, though, time has been wasted. 1 med remaining. And for me, he has come back for the fight. Never leave a man behind.
What? Oh, my gosh. Well, after that knock, I think he thought maybe gets involved. If Batulin had gotten the heal off, he might have had a chance to make this a 2v1 with Lou's return. But Lou not giving up as he charges in with the mollies. The circle is closing in the meantime, and it is going to be a very difficult fight off to the east of the Oasis. Not an area that anybody's used to. Here's the trap. Oh, Alpha up on top.
Yeah, Lou, though, he's got that ridge. One goes up, one goes down. Lou has the meds. Perfect example is back here. So again, if Lou can maybe be a hero, be the team medic, he'd be able to pick up the tool into blue chip and put Twisted Minds back to a 4. So opting not to play. Let's jump over towards other things there. 17 Gaming holding up the compound here. JD Gaming, who were on the third party here, getting involved. Yantan gets the grenade. Nan finds Little goes down, and it's a bit of a joust.
Chan is dropped, but he loves explosives. Gonna make a push forward. Wenbo comes in and says the flush game. JDG has been a real problem for a lot of teams on the pushing, but here they only managed to get Lil Ghost with everything they've done. So 17 will get him back up to full strength, put some kills in the hopper, and take over first place from the Falcons.
Yep, 76 points. Score Rodo looking to try and get in the back part of here arena. They eventually end Team Liquid and not had the best start to this game. That 2-2 split was exposed. And then obviously with the arena wrapping round on that rotation at Northwest, do also find the remaining 2 to play from Petrichor Road. Looking to try and get involved. And we obviously multiple teams down. Versus Prodo. Tigleton will fall down. Good shots come round. Lucarax goes down 21 HP. And they're going to be cautious though because the Falcons are flying right in the middle of the Pandas.
Falcons were born in the desert, and they will die in the desert as they get picked off by Virtus Pro, waiting for them to come on by. They get a nice move here. Lucarux down as well as Nixie tries to get the flush on drive-by. Falcons will be eliminated with a little bit of help on the steal from Gilman, and that is going to be the end of the Falcons. The second-place team down, the fifth-place team down. 17 looking good.
Oh, I'm just going to open up for the final game. Oh, this is so good. You know when you cast a final and you know the winner as you come into day number 2. We're going to go down to the final game. Match number 10 is going to be explosive. So lock in. BRDM, JD Gaming rotating through. 17 Gaming looking to try and hold as they will do a 180 spin. Haven, though, from Godlike, can't get those final blows.
I don't cheer against teams, but I would love 17 to die here. Just for the sake of it being very close going into the final. It's 76. I mean, they're 10 points ahead of Myth right now. If 17 salvages a decent game, and they could very well do so as they aggressively dig in a 17 style of play, they will put themselves in a really tough to catch position. They could theoretically win the event right here, right now with a good endgame.
I think they've lost control of the car. They're digging for safety. The zone shift, though, has to come back shortly. Yeah, there we go. Comes back towards the southwest. Genji on the high ground. They might be able to punish. You got to remember, Genji's also sitting with an opportunity to climb up to be above that 8th place. And for some kills ahead of him, they'd be eager to try and finish things off.
All right, here comes that rotation from JDG, trying to get inside with their 3RDM. Aggressive, to say the least, in the last couple of games, and understandably, at 10th place with 43 points, you need to put some numbers on the board. Because remember, it's not just about getting the trophy here, Mark. You still need to get a high enough score that when added to last week's performance, you're in the top 8 and get an automatic bid to the finals in our circuit championship next weekend.
Yeah, this is the big thing. Again, they're looking at overall leaderboard as well, guys. So this might be the final showing for circuit 2 or circuit 3, sorry, week 2, but it does mean actually it's getting tallied up because we are back next week, but a best of 15 this time when it comes down to the finals.
I am trying to pull up the final stage of Series 1 so we can kind of keep an eye on it, but so far it's been pretty interesting. I think JDG only had 2 points, so they need a lot if they want to make that top 8, which is probably why they are being so aggressive right now. Twisted Minds, on the other hand, had 30 points, which is pretty decent. So if they can manage to continue climbing here and get themselves up just a little bit higher, they'll be in much better shape for that collated push into next week.
So I think you miscued that. Example falls down. Twisted Minds out in 12th now, 37 points for them. VP again and got rid of Falcons as they rotated past. Now looking to try and make the move. Major pickup coming up from 17 gaming. Pressure being applied though by Godlike. And the car forgot to put the handbrake on. And now things open up. Here's Genji high side though for them. They might want to get involved. Godlike looking to try and do the same. Genji going to try and reposition, try and find some more high ground. Looking onto this one. But for me, that emergency pickup though, I think it's too far away.
They got to hope for something. Wembo saying, pick me up so I can fly. Pick me up so I can fly, Xiaowu. Pick me up so I can fly. And they might get a chance as Genji flies down the hill towards the center of the circle. The E-pickup just passed over. I don't think they got it in time, but Park Pro, he's got a Panzerfaust. He misses the shot, Park Pro. Oh, but doesn't matter. He got him on the spray.
Doesn't miss the shot, but he miscounted the people in the car. Salute was there. He thought it was a one and done, but it's not the case. Genji able to find a breach in towards GK's compound. They were on the split. GK unable to collapse. Genji get the opportunity now to drive from the center of this zone. Good play from them. Made in Thailand on the outside again. Neighboring compound on a big split though. They've got a lot of, I suppose, teams encroaching into the area.
Parking enforcement officer Park Pro thought it was one and done, but it was one and gun as he takes him out from behind. Park Pro gets a little taste of his own medicine from that Erangel match. And now we go back to Godlike. These guys have been grinding. They're fighting their way into final circles over and over and over and over again. And here they're going to try to do it again. This time, though, not as easy of a transition. They don't have the spot just yet. They got a long way to go.
Shaven finds himself in heaven as he's up in the gods at the moment. He's going to provide so much information now for the guys. Now, Fenner has picked up a mortar. That is going to be close. 21, he's zeroed in. He's going to completely send what he can in front. That's going to maybe get 17 gaming out of these dips. Maybe the shots from above will cause the problem. They're going to rain in. Yeah, there's too close for it. Doesn't get, I suppose, for 17 gaming, they saw it. They know they can hold the line.
More mortars!
That's got Godlike.
More mortars! It's just constant.
Maybe 17? Yeah, Godlike.
Yeah, I mean, 17 is going to be the primary assault position, right? Like, this is what 17 does. They go out there, they dig in. A lot of these guys know 17 has to be removed for them to continue to move forward, as well as they want them off the top. You just don't want 17 getting more points so that you can potentially catch them in the next round. So Haven's going to keep moving forward, gets the heal up. Tian gets the grenade, tosses it out. It's going to have a good bounce, but it's going to go flying on by. Good cook, but not the right shot. Wenbo trying to get some cover. He's got a good look. 3P peeking. Pops up, gets the spray. Down goes Fauna, and that opens the door for 17 to not only survive this, but put a good bunch of points in the hopper.
It does put a couple more points in that hopper, as you say. So it will be calculated. Tony, no vest though, trying to charge his way forward, using the train where possible. Anyone's Legend coming to come over the other side. And for 17 game, they're in a tough spot. All they can pray is Anyone's Legend takes on Godlike at the moment, and it looks like it's kicking things out.
LFP trying to make something happen here. Tony got that kill on Little Ghost. Baron turns it back around, though, and now Destroy Anyone's Legend. They need points. They want to be on the top of that board. Here they come to get them.
They are. Good bounce back. Confirmation done. 17 gaming going down. Godlike will fall first, and Anyone's Legend, though, looking to try and clean. The Dorito provides the cover. Wembo has to try and back up, and the shots will come through. It's actually from a Panzer. He sends out, but it's an exchange from the Destroyer.
I feel bad. We had Godlike Collins ready to go, and then they had to go. So off they disappear. 17 is going to keep striving forward. Anyone's Legend continues to charge in the back. We saw both Anyone's Legend and Godlike try to use mortars to soften up 17 for this push into the circle. And while it softened them up, they're still pushing up against Tian, who's going to be a very hard nut to crack.
They are. Tian backed out. Grenade. Oh my God. Catch that though. Delwyn will fall. Kobe will come in. And now he can take a 1v1 against Destroyer. Flash will go over the top. He sees the peekaboo. And 17 though. 9 kills. You want them down and out. They refuse though. 83 points. Up in first place.
Tian thrives in the desert. Do you know why, Mark?
Why?
There's no trees in the desert. It's a lack of foliage.
Absolutely love it. More fires will come through. Down the Expendables again, trying to get off the 16th place at the moment, but being pressured out. But they will find the pressure in the center of the zone. So all eyes on them. Myth unable to breach into Gen G. They've got to move their way around, but they've got to think about where they find the stop gap because there is not much training from.
Oh, more mortars. You know how I feel about mortars. Kiss going to go ahead and throw it in the air. It's the only one he's got. Looks like it made a bit of a push forward mortar more than anything else. Here it comes in. Let's see what he's targeting. Oh, almost got down the Expendables. Barrett managed to pick off Salute, and Tian still being a thorn at everyone's side. Sure, he's outside the circle, but you know what? He's got 6 kills in a dream. And the problem with Tian is he can turn that into 8 kills and a placement point.
But more than a dream, he's got a PGS trophy in one hand. Let's see if he can grip it with both at the moment. Gen G full down. Myth, though, also looking to try and take that trophy away from him as they are on the breach, though. PK, they lost one early. Park Pro didn't enforce the parking rules and regulations against Gen G, so they find themselves in a 3-man in the late game. But 7 teams remain. We are in the placement points now.
We are in the placement points. I can't wait to see this. So 17 has a PGS 1 championship and a PGS 7 championship. And when you add 7 plus 1, you get an 8. And it seems like they may just be running the numerology gambit if they can continue down this track in such a 17-esque manner.
I love that we see Kiss's trigonometry as marking out the mortar line. I don't know exactly how far out it is. And then obviously taking that launch forward. So good play from him. Obviously being able to try and zero that in. So yeah, well played from Kiss. Alpha Gaming on the, unfortunately, the west side as they will run in behind VP. No, you can't go out in this style. Please get out of the car.
This is how you go out.
Get out. Jump out.
Man.
Leroy! He's going full send.
Yes, sir! Oh, he got away. That was a good Leroy Jenkins, though. Excellent Leroy Jenkins usage.
That would have been perfect timing for him. Look, he is giggling. You know he's laughing in that chair.
For sure. Do you think people still get that reference, or are we too old?
No, we're too old, mate. We are too old.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, another mortar. Wait, we saw this mortar. Did he have another one?
Yeah, this is the lineup. This is the lineup. This is how he took them apart. That's where we saw a little replay where he lined up using the map. Great play from him. Great play from Kiss. Good catch, Kiss.
All right, so no enough being excited about Kiss and gassing him up. This guy is a great player. They're in 76 now. Myth climbing that board. They passed the Falcons, and now they are the only ones on the chase with 17 out. It is going to be VP and Myth trying to set that stage for a 4-horse race at the top, and it is doable. Myth could actually overtake 17 on this game. They've got a decent spot to push in. Well, I wouldn't say decent. They got a very rough push in after that circle shift. They're going to have to come into this. VP, on the other hand, is in a win condition. They've got a great scenario mark, and if they can somehow pull this off with 3 players, that would put them right back into the race.
Yeah, see what they can do, working their way. And VP, for me, in the position the zone shifts back their way. I'm really interested to see actually what VP have to say here because they have to hold the West. Let's jump in with VP comms.
Ooh. He's going to pull up into South.
I think T is dead.
Didn't he kill the APG guy? Didn't he kill the APG guy?
Yes, you're
That's teki kaarna, I think.
Bro, one of these teams is streaming. Mid TNS rookie guy. Figure it out. Checking, yeah. I'm checking.
Absolute silence. They call what is necessary, and then they go quiet. I like that. The calm discipline. Myth up against Soup. Myth's got to make a play here if they want to try to take over the lead, but Soup is not interested in letting that happen. 58 points and a charge forward. They need to make a move. Barrett is ready. The nades are coming out. They're terraforming this entire hill. It is a 4v4. I don't know if the third party is going to get here in time, so it looks like it could be just a good old-fashioned fisticuff.
Shootout. Opens things up. Kiss will go down. I love that actually VP trying to again use the kill feed read to figure out who is on 3. They're going to be happy though with that kill feed in the tracker in the top right hand corner. Kiss obviously is down. Baron looking to try and edge to smokes Jacob on the hole, but he's got to produce a little bit more cover as we launch ahead the Doritos.
Soup had about 50 points last week, so if they can win this or get to a good position and get themselves north of 60 here, it should secure them a spot in the top 8.
It's going to fall on them. It's going to roll. Oh, I thought it was going to roll the other way. Lucky enough though. For Soup, they are able to hold the right side of here. Flash will come forward, having down on 556. Got to be cautious though. You can't overspray, but Kiss looking to stack up and make the move round.
Just trying to make that flank play. Nice little spray. EJ, here's that third party coming out to cause some trouble. Heaven goes ahead and gets the knock on Scappy, but we saw someone get hit by that cover. Heaven goes for the spray. He gets that another follow-up. Goes for 2. Make it 3 if he can. Plexus to the left side. Main talent is knocked out. He didn't have to do it by himself. He had the help of Rex. Heaven, DL putting in the work, and GK is going to sort of just be watching from the distance. That's how you execute and wipe quickly.
Yeah, it's not a full house, but it is going to be an interesting ending. Super's obviously looking to try and capitalize as much as they can as they get charging forward. GK holding on that south side and VP in full control on the west. Gan the Expendables get a slight pass and hopefully able to survive out a few more placements, though, as the battle of the sandy dunes commences.
I thought the Dorito had gotten a kill, but apparently Soup's not even willing to let that happen as they went ahead and flushed them all. Corexi's here, though. He's got the dragon off. He's watching from a distance. GK felt pretty comfortable. They're staring at Soup, and I think VP is using this opportunity to kind of slip around and maybe try to pick it out a little bit. They are still in such a good position, 3 strong, in a really good spot in the circle.
Yeah, just look how they played that right. We saw holding the south side, and they had Lucarax and Beamy on the north push. It wasn't working out. Corexy clearly made the call that he's got a team pushing around to his side. Lucarax disengages, comes back around the other side, but they don't drop the ball. We've left Beamy here on the north. They want to make sure they control on supers and make sure they don't sort of rotate their way around. I wouldn't be too surprised if they started applying pressure this way. We might see Lucarax coming back.
Well, they also left him with 3 grenades and 6 smokes. So worst case scenario, he can put down a screen and stop the push from Soup to buy time for the rest of his team to come back around. They're playing this very smart strategically. This is VP. This is the new generation VP that we're used to seeing as they continue to try to climb this leaderboard and get up there into contention. 70 is good. 74 would put them in the race without any questions asked. Geeky going to come over. They look like they've been wanting to fight Soup for a minute. This might be their shot to do so.
Yeah, correctly. I've seen the move as well. So again, you see Lucarax though reposition. Looks like he's going to get his hands in the cookie jars. The crate has landed. Correct though, continuing to hold the line, hold the fight. They will be waiting, watching for this kill feed to start. When it does though, VP looking to sweep in. Oh, MG put it in my basket in the last game.
Nice little toss out here. Yeah, the Expendables down to 1 person. Hong F, who's been kind of a pill in the last match, is going to stick to this crater. Got a good bounce up to push Beanie backwards. Soup looks like they're going to be progressing. Corexy, nice double.
That's a great double. Grenade's going to be there, looking for that position. Corexy looking to try and hold that central line. Super slow, look for the reposition. Now the MG comes over the top, only finds 1. Heaven goes for the exchange. And oh my God, Beanie falls as well. It's down to Corexy to try and keep VP in this.
Heaven trying to make some moves here. He wants to send VP to meet their maker if he can. Beamy's done, and there it goes. It's going to be a little help from EJ01 to drop Heaven down at the very end of that. Where did EK even come from? Here they come, backstab.
A few are backstab. They went around the adjacent side. They made the aggressive play towards DNS, but it's not going to be the case here. Now it's a 3 versus 1 versus 1, but 2 are down, so we're going to have a little bit of a duke out all at once. And for the Expendables, they've been in the kind of graveyard of the mortar fire. But he finds himself in the late game.
The flushes are going to go down. This is a 1v1v1 as GTE, VP, and GK go to it. GK's got the rock and to try to slide over. He thinks he'd like to try to maybe get a rescue. I don't think that's in the options. He's got to just play this out. Here comes the shot from Wong F. It overshoots. Lets him know where it is. Molly in his pocket. He's got to run out. Easy kill. Down the Expendables is eliminated. Now it's down to Corexy versus Songjiang.
1v1, bro. He makes the position. Use of the card, though. Has the cover of the rock. EK, little bit closer, but both of these players have to move forward. It's going to come down to the utility. Grenade goes at the top. That looks perfect. And Corexy goes down. GK will take match number 9.
GK says you can play some cheeky peeky if you want to, but I've got a grenade and I'm just going to put it in your pocket. And a pocket full of grenades gets you wiped every day. Let's get the 2 casters back in here. It is Avenger and Matrim, and that was an end game that I think blew the top of the boards wide open, Martin.
Yeah, what a game. What a way to finish it as well. That the DNS and VP I did not expect, and I did not see that coming. Whether it's just a mutual destruction, it came down to just the Corexy being the sole survivor because he wasn't one of the front point men there. What a play, what a way to do it. And GK closes the door. They look to be just held out by DNS, and they're like, okay, well, we're just gonna go and kill VP and then kill you guys later. And that got completely destroyed and denied. What a game. I love Miramar.
Oh, that opening sequence, man, with the Twisted Minds fight forever was fascinating, though really non-factor in terms of the overall state of this event, right? Right, Matt? No.
Oh,
That stings, right? Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was on me, my side. I was going to say a little bit of an interesting situation whenever we look at it. We don't often see this go this far north, and it kind of led for a lot of those weird fights like you were talking about with Twisted Minds.
Here comes that perfect mortar. We got to see this on replay as it put in some serious work, Mark. It seems like Myth is on the hustle. They haven't been able to get to the top of the leaderboard with it. I think they were in third going into this one, but they are pulling out all the stops to try to get this win.
that game has set up for a match 10 finale, right? Like, so many times we get to cast events and we know the winner realistically, kind of a match 6, match 7 maybe, even into a match 8. But going all the way, Myth unable to sort of work their way in on this final circle, but it doesn't really matter. With obviously the push coming from Supers, trying to claim up VP to get in the second place, they would have loved the victory. The top of the table is super tight.
It's going to be easily a 4-horse race with a couple of dark horses that could catch up off of one of the better if they had one of those 20-point games. Right. Here's a nice toss that nade that ends the match. Put in the pocket. Excellent execution from EK Esports, a team that definitely needed to put some stuff up. They've been up and down, Martin, back and forth. A bit of a letdown in some ways, but here they are showing us what they can do when they're on.
Yeah, second place last week, and now here trying to make a run for it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a little bit too late here. 33 points before this game, and then yeah, maybe they can put themselves in to secure themselves a spot for next week's finals for a direct slot. And that's what I really think the difference is for them here, because I think they might be able to do it with this game here.
They had 40 last week, so if they can even get 5 or 6, 40, I think they're in good shape.
I love DK.
85, no?
For me, it's all about how many points did VP get and how close are they to the top.
DK got second with 85 points, so I'm sure they're going to be top 8. Look at that, though. Chan now 0 kills last game, 6 kills for this one.
Jeez.
I mean, just popping off, man. You talked about it. No trees around Toffee, so he's going to find success. Tree
right?
Finding himself a big performance here. And, I mean, 17 just was on a rampage down to the south.
That's a good one. I was looking at their PGS points. They do have 86 last week, so Geekay going to be in good shape if they can keep surging forward. A couple of other teams as well. All right, let's talk about Geekay. Get that win on 17. Feeling strong, so that is going to put them up there. And honestly, I do think this should put them very close to the top 8 for next week at that moment. Soup's going to get 15. Virtus Pro puts up 14. The teams that need to make a push do. 17 tried to lock this up, Mark. They really put everything they had into it. And they got close, but everyone else was unwilling to let them run away with it.
Yeah, still no 10 points. That is going to put them right up there. This is going to be an interesting wait for this one. Oh my days!
There it is.
70 game, 83 points, Maiden Titan 76, VP 76, Falcons fall to 4th, but they're on 75 points. There's even an argument that you'd maybe enter in the arena, getting their supers to cause some major chaos, but it's a 4-horse race at this point.
It is a 4-horse race. Let's take a look at that specifically. And this is what it comes down to, is we're no longer playing for top 8. We're playing for a championship. 17 has won a PGS 1. They've won a PGS 7. They'd like to put those two together and come away with a PGS 8. Made in Thailand. They won 2 PGSs in the last cycle and have been sort of... Ibby loves running across in front of us. That's like the 15th time we've seen him do it. I swear to that shot. Just right. We definitely have an EB interview on the way. We do. Let's go talk to EB. Ridiculous.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the interview. We have Beza with us, and from Virtus Pro. Hello, everyone. We're talking about the last game right now. What do you expect to see in the last game about Virtus Pro or about the final match? All the teams.
I mean, it's going to be a crazy game. 17 is in first right now. We're just going to play our own game and play the best we can. I really liked the previous game in terms of communication and the way we were repeating things to make sure that teammates were hearing. Like, it was a really good flow of the game, and I really liked that. We kind of had before that game, we were a little bit more disconnected. So I'm happy that we got the focus back. So I'm pretty sure we also got the focus for the last game, and we're going to do our best. And yeah, we have a chance to win, but if we get second, then we get second.
Yes, and as a coach, if you can send a message to the lobby, what do you want to send?
Like what I think about the lobby.
What do you want to say to the lobby as a coach?
I mean, of course, be ready for VP. The team VP as a team is extremely strong. We're really aggressive. You got to watch out for us early game as well. We like to take a lot of kills to the people close to us, and yeah, be ready for us.
All right, that's all for the interview. Take your time to do the review job. See you in games. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Welcome, Tambu and Duck Juice, because like the survival stage, you're doing so well and you won a 32 points. You can dinner. Congratulations again. Let's start with the match 3. When the game ended, what was going through in your mind?
For me, I was feeling very fresh, like very like a lot of pressure, like wow, this game is crazy. So we are in the grand final PGS 8, so let's go.
Thì xong cái trận 3 ấy mình có được 10 kill thì mình thấy nó khá là dễ thôi, thì góc của mình là góc thượng đế mà, mình thấy ai mình bắn đó, tại vì có anh em mình đằng sau cover hết rồi.
The plays we got, like we just need like one there, one here, one here, one here, and then like two and two, and we just shoot 4 ways, so easy for us. So.
Like you've been in China for a little while now, and you've been in China for so many times. Have you found a favorite local food yet?
We have like 2 local food we very love. The rice with octopus is very good, and one more I don't know how to say in English, so I will stay in Vietnam. Thịt kho tàu và cơm mực nha mọi người. 2 cái món này rất là ngon ở Trung Quốc.
If you can like invite somebody to have your dinner together, who like to invite?
Hello.
Device Extreme. Extreme is the coach of Liquid.
You've already made a huge statement in the survival stage. What do you want people to remember about GTE in the final stage right now?
Thì ở vòng chung kết lần này mình muốn mọi người sẽ nhớ đến TE và với phong cách bắn chiến hơn và sẽ không sợ ai hết.
We want this grand final. We will be more confident, more arrogant to shoot people, to kill people, and then like as I say, we want to shoot, kill, and more confident, more arrogant.
Thanks to you both for joining us. Congratulations on again to winning the top spot in a survival stage. Let's see you in the finals.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes, Zowie continuously develops tailored products, empowering gamers to bring their best out. Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac 2 technology. The new monitor series continue to evolve, refining details to ensure players can perform their best consistently in games.
Arctis Nova 7 Gen 2. The app called The Biggest Cheat Code in the Industry is here for PC and console. It's got real-time audio control to do crazy things.
Okay.
So use it and abuse it, you crazy person. It's the new gold standard.
We got next, we ready to flex, we're ready to rock, give it all you got, we got next. Y'all rockin' to the top, can't stop it, must be off your rocker, then you don't stop us. We got next.
And we are back. It is time for the final match of PGS 8 from Shanghai, China. At the end of this game, we will crown a champion. They will sign their names on the plaque and be immortalized in the history of PGS in the new era. This is an exciting time and a big race, but it's not just about winning this. It's also about the combined points that put you straight through to the circuit final next weekend. It's a 15-game championship, and you want to be in it. You do not want to have to deal with the 5-game Survivor Series to get there. So this is a lot of stakes, and just like a lot of stakes, you gotta keep it rare. And it's rare to see 4 teams in the race at this stage, Matchroom.
Oh, man, and they are some big commodities whenever you look at it. A little bit of a falter in the last game for Falcons. Opened up the door for VP, made in Thailand, 17 climbing. While 17 has a little bit of a lead, it's not a lot. It is not insurmountable in the slightest. And 1 point separating 3 teams on the chase for first place is a ridiculous situation that I can't remember the last time we have seen.
It is wild. As we get ready to go, and we're going to remind those of you who took a break, you fools, and walked away from the leaderboard, that it is 17 Gaming and 83. They have the lead, but it is so close. 76 made in Thailand, 76 Virtus Pro, 75 Falcons, and then E-Arena is farther back there. But they would love to do a repeat. This is going to be a massive game as we take a look at the trophy one last time before it is lifted by the players. The plane is in the air, and it is time to Tego one last time at PGS 8. So as we get ready to drop, let's turn it over to your maestros of mayhem. It's Matrup and Martin.
All comes down to this. We are eyes on to next week in so many different ways, but we'll leave the top 8 and then all the math for the later sections of it. It's just who's going to walk away in those first place, second place, third place positions and find themselves a ton of points.
And the fact is, $100,000 are going to be distributed. It's going to be $30,000 for first, 20 and 10 for second and third. So you have to get in and lift that trophy to get your lion's share. And for a North plane path to go all the way down to Southeast, the last teams are going to go out in hospital. And some of the teams that are on the bottom leaderboard, they're going to have to check themselves into the hospital to find out what's wrong, because they're going to be playing next week again for even more PGS points and prize pool matchup.
Oh, we've been seeing so many Southern pulls whenever we get plane paths like this. Team Liquid, Anyone's Legend, looks like they've got a duel that they're going to be going for. Commit more players from Anyone's Legend, but there's not a lot of loot to be had over here. It's just going to be quick drop, see what you can get. It is Team Liquid inside track, finding guns first, but it is quickly coming up. Machetes, can he get the reload before anything else happens? Good shots come up from Halo. He finds 2 already. Kurt's also coming for him. And this is Team Liquid holding strong against Anyone's Legend, who is trying to climb.
Shots come in. Oh my God, Delvin trying to climb in, and now it's just him as Halo with the Saiga. He does have a hand in. Oh, nice flush as well. And now it's just him as absolutely alone. Curdy and Halo, one of the longest standing duos. EJ and GT coming in too. EJ finds 2. Glories longer than Doctus is down. Are they going to get him? Oh my God, Cam, the Expendables are going to be absolutely destroyed. They're going to be finishing in last place, dead last. And that is the curse of first place in survival.
That hurt. Tanvu didn't even have a gun. He was just peeking around the corner, watching his friends die, and then gets popped. Well, looks like Mass also going to be living that same life. Oh, actually gets a knock onto Cowboy. Is he going to go for the flush, or is he going to use the ammo to try to continue to survive? Let's see, Cowboy's going to try to retreat. Here comes Step-Ins, gets the second one. Trying to use the ridgeline to deny on any angles. Luke's taking a lot of damage. Can't get any retaliation back. He's going to go down as well. It comes down to Alo to keep Team Liquid in it.
And now JDD is sniffing at it. Put them into the back. Put them, save them, all of them. Yeah, another guy. Yeah, get that guy too. Oh my God. Maybe Cowboy as well. It's shots from the distance, but the other JDD guys are swarming towards him. He's going to have to disengage and get out. Maybe he should have flushed the last guy and driven off with him, but no. He's going to be dead in that bush. Maybe they can save him for later. Unfortunate stuff, but they did get 4 points, and it is going to put them ahead of Twisted Minds on 13th place.
Down on the circle, it did end up going south. Geek is going to be in a pretty good spot right off the get-go. I know. Why is the circle love this water down in the south? We keep seeing it so much. Right along the edge of the zone. We're going to continue to watch at JDG on the hunt for Team Liquid. Not a lot of good loot positions to really be found for Team Liquid after this, so they're going to have to keep their head on a swivel for anything that looks unlooted. Most of the other teams not making any big movements yet, as it's just going to be the late droppers finding good priority positions early.
JD's really sniffing it. Unfortunately, they do not have the nose of a bloodhound. They have not been able to find Team Liquid. That's a great hiding spot. Nobody's going to be able to see that. So we do take a look at that last game where Geek was able to win it out. We did have a northern zone. It is basically a home turf circle for them, but the zone went so far north, they had to chase.
And this is just, I mean, we've been seeing these last two games, just action start to finish is so many of these squads that are just needing points, just trying to find these big games and really also trying to deny out anything. Love the fact that Park Pro is also feeling himself a lot more. It's kind of sad that he didn't spot out the second player inside the vehicle, but I mean, we've been seeing like GK find these really crazy clutches for themselves in some pretty dangerous spots that normally it didn't feel like GK a year ago or even a couple months ago could have won.
Let's see. Oh my God. Oh, nice shots coming in there. I actually didn't remember him getting that one on Chan, but yeah, it was obviously the C4 play that we saw from the off angle from the high ground. But then again, we've just seen all of this. My most impressive situation for this one was DNS just expecting to pull up on VP and be able to flush them out completely, but Correction did deny that and say, nope, that's not happening.
While this is happening, I want to give you guys a quick update. Team Liquid is just on the outside of the circle. 17 Gaming and VP are also pathing very close to them, so we might be finishing this game jumping directly into some action. Most of our squads also playing pretty far down along the coastlines, kind of centered up. So DK as well as the arena pretty close to each other. I think that Team Liquid's little hidey hole that they were going for reses is going to be enough to keep them fine as DK and the 1v1 standoff going off here.
Absolutely. And that nade, of course, is going to be put in the back pocket of Correctly, as we saw that just a few minutes ago. And with a few shots on the feetsies of him, too, we're going to be back to Team Liquid. But I think they're going to be happy and content with having 4 kills, having lost Cowboy. They might even have time to go and grab his chip and get a res on, as this circle is super far south. And now, majority of the teams are already getting close and parked up by Song Ahmed. We have seen a lot of these circles in this southern terrain with that MS making the most of it.
I am this dude. He just turns it on sometimes, and there was a world where he could have 1v4'd that with near on no economy.
Absolutely, and I've been saying that's what the riches and the TPP picks does for you. If you have high mechanical skill, you're gonna be able to get a lot of it. Now to 17 here. Our current leaders, 83 points. A buffer of 7 points could be enough for them. And with a BRDM as well, Matrim is looking very, very good for them. They do have a bullseye marked on their back.
Look at that smile. Little Ghost is just loving it. BRDM coming in, top of the leaderboard. VP was a squad that they were rotating very close to and having a couple of shots between them. Twisted Mind's just going to be to the south of where we see the 17 position be played for him. VP is going to wrap just to the west of this 2-2 split that Twisted's going to be going for. The northern sections of the circle pretty much open. Nobody around Bukson Sa really. Hosan also mostly abandoned. It's just going to be way down the south around Song Am where we've got E-Arena, DK, a bit of a split from Jin G going to be holding at. JDG has also gone for a pretty far wrap on the map. You can see they're going to be coming in on the western side of Song Am with Godlike just to the north of them. The rest of the squads kind of tailing into this, looking for wide wraps to the east and west respectively.
That Crafts on AI map, when everyone is driving south, is reminding me of the wacky jaggy recoil patterns of 2018 YouTube and how you control your guns. You know, all the color. You remember that? How it's like, yeah, what a throwback. I think he's back to working full time, not streaming so much anymore, but it was a good time, good throwback with those recoil patterns. I remember that. Good times.
Those were such great videos. I mean, I couldn't really execute because I got boomer hands, but I mean, it was always nice to know why I was missing my shots.
Yeah, this is why you're missing your shots. Remember, this gun often draws a little bit to the left, so get that in. Sure, the recoil is a little bit random. It's not as predictable as other games, but that's what you love. I think that's just one of the best parts of PUBG. The gunplay is just next level. Kickstart here, and the birds in the sky here. They've been winning games, having a glider before. They do need to win a game if they need to catch up to 17 alongside a few kills with 2 competitors just ahead of them. 1 point from VP and Myth.
Team Liquid just kind of bumps into everybody over here in the north right now where they're trying to rally themselves. Is Myth not going to get too involved, but it's just a couple of meters here or there keeping Team Liquid away as they're kind of skulking around trying to find some more loot because remember they had a hellacious start to all of this. Myth going to be coming in right as the circle's about to pop. Where are we going to go? God, stays along the coastline, keeps the bait in play. So math coming up. Really, it's just going to be on to Twisted Mind, VP, 17 Gaming, Myth, and Team Liquid to get into the circle. There's a lot of guys that are in the hunt for first. Stretchcore Road finds out Twisted Minds. 2 players already down.
Super 4NB just barreled them out of the car, picking them out of the back seat with his hands. That's crazy. Now VP and Twisted, they see a rogue car. They think that it might be Twisted Minds, that could be 3 points, but they are trying to get deeper here. This is really crucial times to, especially with a circle like this, get some really high valuable terrain. You see more players driving around. I think they realize it's Twisted, and they're just getting off from this. Batulin's driving off, and Example has already parked his car. No, can they hold on to this high ground here? This is really valuable terrain for VP. If they can set up shop early, that would be massive.
I mean, yeah, it's a great position if we ever leave the coastline, but we do also have Godlike. Supers are over there. JDG still playing on top of each other. Twisted Minds full on damage control just in the south position. Cowboy did get called back in for Team Liquid, so I think that he's just playing a bit more into the north, trying to get his loot situation going. Gen G actually has a very strong position inside the circle, pretty centered as well, as they've got a lot of little footpath positions that they can play. It has a couple little sneaky ways that people can fight into it, but it is also going to be the Supers is making Song South their position. Nice little bailout. Takes some damage, but who cares?
He got into Songham. It's actually kind of free at the moment.
Yeah.
There's nobody in proper Songham at the moment. Only Twisted Minds in the north, and GK has a 2-2 split on the east of it. And then, of course, the two teams on the south side over to DN Supers here alongside, also setting up shop. They're really hoping for a Western shift here. I don't see it happening. Now over to Falcons. They're coming in from the southeast, Matchroom, and really important is that they actually have a lot of space ahead of them. And with Kickstart, that's the eyes in the skies, they're probably gonna be able to take a lot of compounds here and a lot of space alongside the southeast ridge. And with land ratio and shifting away from water in phase 4 not available and ready anymore, that means that this is going to be a great game for them potentially.
I mean, they've even got the glider still going over the bay to kind of get an idea on what's going on with everything else. 17 is going for a wrap right along this northern area. Red zone on top of them, but looks like they should be fine. Nobody else really around them either. Petrichor Road running this very wide split might get some vision, or maybe even Cowboy down in Hospital. I think that 17's making a play for one of the hillsides just on the outskirts of Hospital and give them a lot of vision to kind of scout out everything moving forward. But you can see that with 51 alive, 17's getting a bit nervous. They're trying to do more stopovers, making sure that nobody's in the positions that they're kind of moving towards. This is guys in first, wanting to make sure that they don't overextend themselves and put themselves into a bad spot. And again, we get eye in the sky. We know that they've got plenty of terrain and space that they can play for, but they don't. And they're leaning into the safety, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Exactly. Let's see where Luca the circle here could go east. That does go east. Falcons really laughing at the moment. Hospital still in. Petrichor Road in. Gen G and that whole recall construction area is in. And VP is full sending it to try to get some ground into this next circle. Get a foot in the door.
Okay, they're going to move into this Badlands positioning that Gen G had control of the north of the southern section and the western section of it. Pretty clear for right now. And that's going to be where VP probably sets up their home. Also denies out a couple of movement factors that we can see from the other teams. DK was kind of watching this arena as well. Supers popped in their vehicles. They're going to be coming in from the west. Playing the more northern section of it does mean that Gen G is also going to get some vision onto Virtus Pro. Not too big of a committal fight. This is more just seeing if they can get any knocks, damage, anything else like that. Myth doesn't like anything to do with the circle. They're going with a very edge-driven rotate coming in. And Supers, no options. They're just going to bully their way right into it. And it looks like they've got eyes on the VP's positioning, catching some air. Vehicles are starting to flip around. They should be able to land, but Beamy is waiting. Lucarux tags up with him, and Supers gets dropped just like that. 3 points for VP.
That's huge points. It's crucial for them as well, as DNS was chasing now down to 64 points and stuck in 6th place. Could even drop even further here. And that's a great start for VP, and they do hold on to crucial area here alongside the center of the zone. And Myth, outside the zone currently, Matchroom, they're going to have to make moves too, driving potentially straight into VP or into Gen G if they go towards the center of the zone.
Oh man, this is going to be really hard. This is a more open section of approach where we have multiple squads, most notably DK, VP, Gen G, set, waiting, but Myth never afraid to firefight. These guys know how to handle it. Godlike dealing with JDG right on the edge of the zone, trying to see if they can firefight their way in. It's going to be one of the last big kills before you move into the more open sections where maybe Alpha or E Arena could start to take pot shots at you. Falcons trying to get involved very far away from this, but hey, you never know. You can find something out of it. Team Liquid also kind of encroaching up back behind all of this thing, and maybe they can find some free points because there is a lot of down players.
Whoa! Good steal there for Shrimpsy to actually get that. And this is a really important point for them to have, as Kickstart's also taking some shots. Fana finds December 12th here. Full-on mutual destruction fight for Godlike and for JDD.
Godlike's been putting in a ton of work. They're going to go down in 7th place. Supers down in 6th. Okay, well, JDG, what do you do? Because you still have Team Liquid on the hunt back behind you, and this is a squad that's kind of pissed given how the start of the game goes, and you know that they want to get back into some of this firefighting. They're going to make a big push right on to JDG, but Alpha actually is sending Simon T over here. Looks like he's going to try to see if he can vulture up some of these kills as well.
Nades and utilities now being expended towards JDG here, trying to get them off this. Great
Nice
nade
nade.
finds Nance as well. Alo, huge, more nades, destroy the shield. And now we're down to just one player from JDD. He's trying to send it into the smoke to try to get away from this one. And Team Liquid having an absolute banger of a game as the circle does donut up here. We're going to have a lot of fights alongside that northwestern ridge where VP and Gen G is. Myth is sending it into 17 on that eastern side.
Team Liquid in the compressed section of the point, so anything they can find is going to be great. Myth just running right into Gen G, no options. They're just going to send it. D does get the knock onto Jacob. You can see also Team Liquid trying to come in off this. Myth just going to run right through the hillside, right through Gen G, going to continue moving forward. Petrichor Road, VP now getting vision. Myth in a lot of trouble, holding down that fourth place position. 2 players down and starting to get picked apart. They at least managed to make it to the high section of the hill, and that's going to deny out some of the vision. Should give them time to maybe go for this res because they need to keep Kiss up.
GG repositioning here. JD out in 12th place, and now 17 Gaming realize that there's a player out in the distance here. Lil goes in the PRDM. Cowboy's just running, and it's just like, oh, you're so slow. I'm just going to run around you, and easy peasy. Wait for maybe someone to jump out here with a nade. Try to bait a little bit. Oh, Cowboy's just really playing around with it, but all Lilgos is doing is delaying the inevitable that all the other guys are trying to send it in. Smoke's being deployed now to try to maybe get some points here for Cowboy. He's all by himself as the rest of the team is in there. Renfo, though, finds him with an arc headshot. A nice effort for Cowboy as he was recalled in. Try to get some of the loot from Hospital. But now 17 Gaming has all the control on this eastern side, coming alone from it and up until this hill that Xiao Wu's holding on to.
VP, eyes more to the south, had watched what went on with Myth, realizing that Gen G's position is getting a bit more clustered that side. Edge control seems like what they're going to be aiming for. E-Arena, the last PGS winner, going to see if they can tail in, find a big game for themselves. They want to put themselves back into the conversation, but VP trying to close it out. Regroup happening just down to the south of this is, Geek K. Very few options. They're going to be sending it into the circle over into the east. Not as hazardous just quite yet. Myth not in a position to really do too much, but it's going to be mostly Petrichor Road taking those shots.
Oh my god, EK losing people here is very unfortunate, but Petrichor Road has really been farming it, and they're sending it straight into the middle here. More shots come in. Scabby finds damage done onto them as well. And it's going to be rough for all the teams trying to get in. The King of the Hill fight has already happened. Gen G and VP is holding on to this western side.
While this is going on into the east, 17's got a great position, but all the firefighting is happening in the center and to the west. So not too many kills to be found, but great positioning. Maybe make it into the later stages and try to find their points there. They still got the 6-point lead over everything. Nades starting to roll down onto Geek. Not finding anything with that one. Other one airburst a bit too far. The other one's kind of moving into the valley. Geek doing a decent job on surviving this, but there's just too many nades starting to connect. Geek does get eliminated, and that's Myth finding points.
That is huge. And now a send from Twisted Minds that they're down to just a 2-man, getting close and kind of sliding up into where we saw Geek going down. Myth does find Kiss, and now Arena's out in 10th place. That is the 5th place team that's eliminated. We're down to just the top 4 here, Matchroom, and all the teams below.
They are fighting for it. Myth moving out of that higher section, trying to see if they can kind of corral what's going on in the center of the circle. Gen G now leaving their position, moving forward. Meantime, Scappy does spot out Twisted Minds. That is going to be example going down. VP still has to deal with Alpha that's just down below them, but Falcons have the south on lock. Mortars prepped up, just trying to figure out where they're wanting to toss them at. 17 now also starting to get some vision of what's going to be happening inside the circle. They want to get involved, and they want to find some points to keep their lead.
Myth just being down to 2 here. All the teams realizing it around it. And Falcon setting up shop for the southern side. More mortars are coming in here. It could, I think that's Tiggleton actually shooting from the south. I'm not sure exactly where that's coming in from, but this is making it very playable, this space here for Scabby. Now VP has to make a little bit of a move, skirt into this northern side, and the next fight for them is going to be Gen G. If they survive that and also get the last teammate in safely here, as Beamy has been knocked out. Oh my god, they're actually going deeper.
Right in.
Straight close to Myth.
right on top of him, catches the air, passes over them, running into the circle. Scappy in position to kind of counter move around it. Baron's going to spot the stop off. He's close. Going to go ahead and open up. Goes for the spray. Gets a knock onto Lucarux. VP instantly tries to respond. Follows up. Baron gets the second knock. Now realizing it's VP. Scappy on the other side of it. Tries to see if he can get into a better angle, but trying to dodge out the nades. Nixie finally does manage to take down Baron. Scappy charging the hills, but it has been read by VP. Nixie, the multi-MVP, needs to get it, but is protected by Petrichor Road.
Myth is out, and that means VP's in second place, but it's so unfortunate for VP to be in this position because now APG and Gen G is coming in as Beamy is flying in. They might be able to save Correction and get up to a 3-man. There's plenty of loot to be had for Beamy as he's gliding around in this ridge. And all the other teams are kind of skirting in on the other sides here. APG and Gen G could be fighting each other instead of trying to fight VP as they're looking at it. And now Salute opens up and POW.
Pushing the hillside. They don't want to overextend. They don't want to take this too fast. So just take what they can get as it gets revealed. Rest of Alpha still playing the lower sections of the hill for the time being. Gen G still has Soul in the circle, kind of keeping an eye on what's going to be happening with a VP. It's mostly calm everywhere else. It's just been this hillside that's been where all the clustered firefighting has just been repeatedly going on. VP finding benefit because they can find kills in there, but it's also costing them a lot as far as arms, ammo, everything else like that. You can see they're having to go for reses. They're going to be walking into this a little bit damaged, and Gen G having high ground potentially on them on top of that.
Gen G playing a little bit too passive to my liking. They could have taken out VP here, but they might be thinking that they could get this win if they get this next circle shift. But we do up getting, oh, this is a southern shift. This is a Falcons potential win if they lock this one down. Look at this terrain they have ahead of them, and they're the only team on the south side. The big problem is that you have 17 on the east, and that is their biggest threat in terms of the leaderboard. They might be able to take third away easily from Myth, but can they compete for second or first place in this game?
Tian going for a couple pot shots on Petrichor Road. The way this is all kind of stacked up. Little Ghost is going to get down Batulin, so that's another point in the bag for 17 just to try to keep some distance. There's a couple little ridges that kind of move up from Falcons into the higher positions where we see Petrichor Road and Gen G at. Petrichor Road has just one player in I-26, very close to where we see Gen G at. Petrichor Road looks like they're leaning more into that northern approach rather than trying to push into the south. But 17 starting to punish. No real good options over here as Tian does have the nade prepped. He's just going to toss it out, and it looks like it's read pretty well.
Yeah, Petrichor Road really has to do something differently than to just run up on them here. They're just going to get held out. They have mortars, they have BRDM as well. Now crates are coming in on top of them that they have time to loot. Nixie takes shots towards Gen G, and now they are under immense pressure. He's over here to the other side. I-26 finds Xiaowu with a bold action headshot. This is Petrichor Road's chance to push 17.
And this screws up 17's timing. This was the guy that was playing all the way back over into the east. Petrichor Road's going to use that opportunity. They run forward right up along the ridge, knowing that 17 has to surrender that angle. Tian just can't keep it entirely contained by himself. Chewy's going to be close range, staying right on top of 17. So operation to go rescue Xiaowu did manage to succeed. They drive over there real fast, throw him in the car, and then regroup quickly. But now, paying attention to the kill feed, Falcons realizes it's the east. That's where 17's going to be at. And VP still has to deal with Gen G as well as Alpha wrapping very close.
A very crucial information for VP and for everyone else to come. Panzerfaust in hand for Salute. He's going to be throwing it more towards... Oh, great nade from D takes Nixie down. And Gen G opens the door to push themselves even further on this leaderboard. Salute finds the confirmation onto Nixie.
I mean, VP needs every point that they can find here. It is Falcons a looming good position down to the south, and there is just a stack of potential targets. Petrichor Road actually going for the flank onto Gen G. I don't think that Gen G realizes it. Quick push up. Tui does find Soul real fast. Suddenly, Salute has to spin back around and try to figure out what's going on. So there is a moment of reprieve for VP. It is still Alpha on the other side looking to get involved onto D, and Salute just kind of juking through all of this. There's nowhere safe for him anymore. Is now Falcons even taking shots on it.
Petrichor Road sees an opportunity on Gen G and VP, and they send it. They go straight towards them. Gen G's going to take shots here. Shrimsy finds Beam, but that's points as well. Gen G is out in 6th place. Now we're down to just Correxy. Can he get more points? Xiaowu finds Petrichor Road. As Petrichor Road left the door open for 17 to third party. They could have taken the fight towards 17, but they went for a weaker play. onto a hurt Gen G and a hurt VP.
The circles pop down to the south. Falcons got complete control. 17 doesn't like it. Instead, it's time to mobilize more into the north. Petrichor Road's got to be waiting. They know that it's going to be 17 nipping at their heels. Alpha's just been kind of watching this the whole time. It's poor old Corexi just trying to survive in the thick of it all. 81, 83, 90. Big gap up to 17. So that means the Falcons going to have to find a lot of kills. VP needs to find something more and maybe just try to play this as long as they can to survive. Alpha now getting involved. Has spotted out Petrichor Road as they crest the top of the hill. It's going to be Tycon that gets a knock, and it's going to be quickly countered. Look at that. Ming Ming also going down. That just leaves Chewy up with Zhao Wu right next to him.
Petrichor Road had the opportunity to third-party 17 or even push onto them, but they went onto this Gen G and VP fighter. They got punished for it. And now Chewy turns around. Maybe he can get a knock and a nade or something onto Xiaowu. And cover that he could have used for the circle is now being thrown out to somewhere else. Petrichor Road's going to go down. That's a flash. That's an easy push. Easy point for 17. Petrichor Road, they threw this game. Now Corexi gets another placement point, and everyone else enables this. 17. It looks like it's going to be impossible for Falcons to catch them. There's just six more placement points to be had from fourth to first. They need a lot of kills, Falcons, if they need to close this one.
Tickleton's going to move into the west, finds himself a little bit of a shack to work with. That's going to be holding back Alpha. Looks like the northern section or the eastern section, depending on how you want to see it, for Falcons, does get vision on poor old Corexi. 17's gone back to their ridge line that they were playing beforehand, pretty close to Falcons' positioning. There's a lot of little demi ridges, but this is all leading kind of into a bowl where a lot of these teams are going to be trying to firefight amongst each other. That's why Falcons haven't been able to get too involved. 17 finds out Corexi, takes him down. It's another point in the bag, and it's feeling very 17 heavy.
And now Falcons just need 2 more kills to get that second place. And Falcons needs to kill every single last player to catch up to 17. They need all 4 kills on 17, all 4 kills on APG to be able to make this run happen. And they need 17 not to get a single more kill. That's how the math flows. Can they do it? They are aware that 17 has gotten a lot of kills, Matt, here.
Yeah, there's just too many factors in it. I mean, there's a world where it can happen, but 17 Falcons getting closer and closer to each other in the new circle pops. It goes mostly center with a touch of a southern lean. So I wouldn't necessarily say it favors Falcons, but they don't have the furthest to go without a doubt. 17 realizing, okay, we've just been playing this aggressive. We've been finding the kills. Now do we make the push onto Falcons and their defensive line? Alpha is going to have supervision on anything that happens over here and will be the third party. And that has been the name of the game. You always want to be the one in the third party to take the driver's seat and just scavenge in whatever you can find over here. Is Tian does go for some shots on the Falcons. Falcons have dug in. They've entrenched. And that BRDM is taking damage.
That's good shots. Falcons opens Ghost, and the BRDM is out, but Wenbo gets a nade onto Kickstart. Shrimsy gets hit by a nade from Chan Chan, and now the explosive action happens from 17. Kickstart's flushed himself, and Shrimpsy's left to this side here. Now everything is falling apart. Gustav does find points here. They need a few more kills to get that second place.
Gustav needs to find this now. He needs to keep himself in this. He's got to control the angle. Alpha is pouncing at the worst time for the Falcons. They just need a point or 2 more to try to catch up. Gustav just runs right into it. Tiggleton knows that they don't need much. They've just got to get it here. And can they find it? Nade rolls in right next to him, and no! The Falcons fall. They made a big play to go for it, and now 17 charges down after Alpha Gaming.
One more nade here. If they bleed out, the kill could come the way of Falcons. They could get a second place. Tilsy's being committed. Dogma is crawling away. That kill is going to get flushed by Xiaobu. And then rest happened. That means 17 is going to win the whole thing.
It's all just popped right there at the end. 17's going to find so much. They're going to find the last game. I've got a black screen, so I don't know how it's all set up, but 17 finds a big pop-off.
The game, gentlemen. They broke the game. That is how powerful the 17 push was. They won 1, they won 7, and now they won 8 when you put them together, and that is what takes everything apart. So we'll have more information for you soon. The feed seems to have gone dark, but 17 will be your champions, and second place will go to VP because it's not lost on me. Alpha crawled to the top and made sure that that kill went to 17 and not to the Falcons. It definitely felt that way. I'm not judging, but it felt that way, Mark.
It did feel that way. But I want a big shout for Tig's player. Yeah, we talk about like this sort of team spirit, right, with the lads. What a way. Send it down, help Gustav. A little bit of overpeak there, a little bit of greedy trying to get those kills out, and then comes flying in Tig on his stallion. Good play from him. But yeah, at the end of it, obviously 17 Gaming held out. BRDM had a big play, but they were definitely the more aggressive team in that final game.
So as we sit and wait to see what happens next, I do want to let you guys know that Pau from APG was eliminated during reconnection to the game, and as a result has been awarded 1 compensation point to make up for it by the tournament organizers according to the rule book. So at least we got that. Get a chance to put that in there in a place where it would normally be difficult. We normally listen to the trophy right now, Matt, and I was very excited about hearing you yell about the victory of 17. So we're going to hang out. And the second that they come back to the trophy lift, I need Matt to go in so hard to gas up 17 on the victory.
Yeah.
He's stretched. Get ready. We never had this much prep time.
I know. Usually it's like just kind of sitting there waiting for somebody to like walk and meander their way over to the trophy for like that 20 or 30 seconds while we talk about the grace and the beauty of 17. But I mean, how beautiful was that last game? Everybody, which I had 4 teams with something to play for. It comes down to Falcons, 17 making the in sections. 17, we did see on the map feed, did end up getting the victory. So that's how come we're talking about it. I know you guys didn't see it if you were watching the program, but 17 is confirmed the ones that managed to pick it up. And I mean, Tickleton even going for the last play in desperation in a car, sending it over Alpha, man. It was so cool.
Man, this would be a great time for a replay. I'm just throwing that out there.
Don't do it.
No, we're not in circle 1 right now. We have to wait until circle 1 for the replay.
True.
We got about 2 minutes. It sounds like they are back up and the feed is on its way over right now. So we got about a minute and a half until we're back in to join 17 on their trophy list. But that's it. We know who won, Martin. It was an incredible game. And 17, you know what? They played that end game great, and Falcons played a little too passive.
Yeah, that end game for them to have that high ground, to have the BRDM, and they were able to, push Petrica Road off that bridge with a little bit of BRDM work, some shots here and there. Yeah, that was smart. Well played by 17. Overall, also today, they have just done it in Kazakhstan as well. They know how the championship feels just recently, and now they're able to do it here for PGS too. What a showing for them here. That's amazing to see. And also, that's going to push them really far ahead and guarantee them a spot for that top 8 for our big circuit final, which is in just a week.
Yeah, 17, 66 points last week, because remember the combined score will take you to that big 8. And I do think this is part of why Falcons played a little bit slower. They only had 43 points last week. So every point here in this game was going to matter in terms of getting that bid straight to the grand final. And then Virtus Pro had 89 last week, so no issue whatsoever. Virtus Pro is guaranteed that they're going straight to the grand final when we come back together for a 15-game final next weekend. So that was kind of this subtext to the whole thing, Mark, that you still had to, even if you didn't think this was your win, you had to plan for how you get to next week and set yourself up for the big prize pool, the big PGS point distribution.
Yes, it's sort of mid-pack, isn't it, right? And everyone's sort of fighting for those additional points.
Congratulations to you guys again. Congratulations. It's a wonderful match, wonderful game, wonderful tournament for 17 Gaming. And we will see some of the biggest moment for them in this moment, for this tournament. Let's see.
Do I do it? I don't know. We'll wait until we see them again. It was 17 Gaming right at the end of just finding all the kills. Just so well played coming out from this. Oh man, I can't forget about the car push. That is probably one of the crazier moments we've seen for an ending in a while.
It was another day. Let's go through some recaps. I'll look back at 17's journey to this position. It was chaos incarnate, but I'll tell you what, it was an active 17 that took this win, more so than I think I've seen in past victories at PGSs from them, Martin. I felt like 17 was actually being very proactive, aggressively rotating and coming into third party whenever possible.
Yeah, their way for this, I mean, their consistency throughout and the amount of kills that they had, it's just undeniable. Also, winning games where they shouldn't, winning the games they should, is the big one for me here, because they have had the opportunity to really push through and getting points where it matters most. I mean, again, some of the pull-ups, some of the third parties that they had was amazing.
Tian, the real legend. I know we joked about that time that he hit a tree branch, but he really was lights out with the mortars, great with explosives, and honestly, lead fragger, but also played some really good support roles, Mark.
Yeah, he did. It's that level of consistency is there. And also, they've broken the mold. The week 2, always we found winners from the survival stage. 17 Gaming kicked things off early. Remember, in the winning stage, they actually topped out in 5th. And again, it's that level of aggression that we see from 17 Gaming. Maybe they're coming off that sort of victory from other events. There's an element of confidence that sort of exudes around this, but you can just see they're just every time they get a win, they knock themselves from the tree, they're up, they're laughing, they're engaged.
I did want to jump in on that because, yeah, this is a very hyper 17 that's laughing and having a good time. A lot of times they're more stoic whenever we see their victories and the way that they play. So, if anything, it's a more reinvigorated 17, it feels like.
So there it is, 21 points. They come off the back of that. You saw a little bit of a hint of a trophy lift that has happened. Alpha Gaming gets 16, Petrichor at 11, and Falcons end up with only 8 points on that one because their placement was good, but it was almost too good. They had such a strong circle. They never had a reason to push out and try to find those fights. And in the end, I think it did slow them down just a little bit too much. We'll head over to the overall leaderboard here. We know who's at the top, but we also kind of want to know who is the rest of the way down, especially because that combined score is setting you up for next weekend. We do know for sure that 17 Gaming is qualified for next weekend's final. 104. Wow. That's called winning in style, Martin.
It is. More than 10 points per game average here. Good to see here. And just 1 point difference for Falcons and Virtus Pro. And yeah, Falcons did try to hold out both 17 and APG. And obviously that was the win con for them if they're able to do it. But yeah, 17 just too good. Made in Thailand also on 80. And then there's a huge gap down to E-Arena. Last week's champion not able to make a repeat.
You know, there was a moment where I thought they were going to do it, Mark. They put up such a good little kerfuff. They were ready to fight. Them and Made in Thailand looked so good after game 2, and then it just kind of slid away.
Yeah, it was how E-Arena were playing. They were kind of waiting in the wings. They let the fight happen in front of them, and then they sort of leaped into action. But people started to pick up on that game plan. And that's where we saw a lot of people take fights to E-Arena, especially in these later games. So it fell short. Obviously, Made in Thailand, I'm surprised. I can hold my hands up. I thought they were going to continue that sort of lead. Something that we're kind of well known with Made in Thailand, but again, sometimes with these kind of double takeovers, there's a lot of chaos that comes in and people getting caught out in rotations. We saw that with Made in Thailand on that last game.
I do enjoy as we get through this second PGS and we start to look towards the future of PGC, how diverse the top of the table is. A lot of different regions putting up really strong teams, Matcham.
Oh, yeah. It's so great to have Falcons in there now because it was a bit of a problem for the Americas, but also shout out while we're talking Americas to Godlike, who did manage to come in for this PGS. I think ended up in 8th place overall. So, I mean, good performance for their first step in. And I just feel like this is one of the closest lobbies that we've seen in so many regards, as far as point totals, the way that people are approaching circles. It's just made it to where, we often talk about like the different regions and their meta and whenever the international stage kind of comes together. But we've done so many internationals this year, it just feels like an international meta has kind of developed. And all these players have gotten to know each other's play style so intricately that we're starting to see more evolved play style from everybody. It's not just per region anymore. It's just PUBG International now.
And then we will, at some point, as we take a look back at the highlights from 17, walk you guys through who did make it to the final for next week and who's going to have to play 5 games in the Survivor Series to make that statement they get to go through. But I'm taken away by these aggressive plays by 17s and cheeky end games, Mark. Stuff like using the car instead of grenades, being willing to depend on utility. I just feel like they are having more fun. And that's a 17 that worries me in terms of they're going to dominate.
Exactly as Matt said. You can see that they're having a laugh while they're playing, and they're getting results because of it. And look, there's an element of creativity. Like, would I have thought to jump back in that car? I think I said yesterday, no, the car was dead to me. It was in the blue. There was no way I was going out there to try and get that one. But they're having fun. Grabbed the car and they found themselves with a win on the road.
Your final stage MVP, Tian, whether it is a mortar, a grenade, or a gun, this guy knows how to put points on the board, and he'll take it with 19 kills, 4,000 damage, and 22 knockouts. Congratulations to Tian, who comes from the championship team. But we know that's not a requirement. So not only did he win the event, but he put up the numbers to get the nomination, Avenger.
Yeah, 40% kills, 30% damage, 20% survival time, and 10% knockouts is the requirement. But let's hear from Yingxi and from Chan Chan, our MVP.
Let's say hello to the viewers. Hello. Hello. Congratulations. Did you expect to win the FMVP for PGSA tournament? 有没有想到过这次自己是可以拿到这个 PGS8冠军的FMVP 的？
我说这个是没有想到，因为我前面好像没怎么杀人，我好像就最后2把杀了9个，我就突然就拿到了。
I didn't expect it to get the FMVP because I didn't get too much kills in the first matches, but I get 9 kills in the after the following like 2 matches, 2 games. So I didn't expect it, but I finally did it. And the next question is about, because Tian Tian just missed out on the FMVP for PGS3 and PGS5. Will that feel a little bit shame for you? 就是你会觉得在 PGS3和 PGS5没有拿到 FMVP 会是一种遗憾吗？
不能说遗憾吧，但是我觉得还是比较可惜的，因为还就差一点就连着拿了嘛，还是有点可惜的。
Yes, actually, the leaderboard in PGS3 and PGS5 is so close. So it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit so close. But finally, Tian Tian made it. So he feels like really happy right now. And the last question for Tian Tian is about yourself. Because in the recently half year, you're doing really well. You're growing at the one of the greatest player in the world. What behind that? What's your mental life? 就是在最近的这个半年的时间里面，天天慢慢已经成为了世界上最顶级的选手之一。我想知道，在这背后你付出了什么？
我觉得每年都有自己技术上的一些增长吧，但我觉得最重要的还是心态吧。你要沉淀，然后你的专注力得在职业上面。
天天 said, I do improve my play skills year by year, but actually the recent half year, I think my mindset, I grew a lot. So I think I feel satisfied with me right now. And congratulations for Tian Tian again, congratulations. And next, we are going to take a look at how the PGC point standing have changed.
He got the MVP. I'll say best player in the world, a little bold for the moment, but if he keeps pulling these MVPs down and playing like he did in this event, 100% I can get behind that because that's what I like to see. New, young guns coming out and carrying PUBG into the next era. But let's talk about that leaderboard, Mark. It looks real good up on top for Made in Thailand.
Yeah, Made in Thailand obviously store from that. The early wins, should we say, the early victories, VP holding on, but really an injection in from 17 gaming. So a resurgence, obviously, as you say, from like PGS1 and PGS7, plus them together gives him an 8, so up to 124. So nice play, nice spread. But it does drop away slightly for some of the other teams.
And you can see some teams are already getting some guaranteed cash coming in from the next cycle. We got E Arena looking at $96,000. Very, very good. DN Supers at 82 and on down from there. A bit of a shock to see the Falcons only sitting at 23K. But, you know, that's what happens. If you're not first, you are, well, essentially 7th, and that's not going to pay so good. So those guys down there on the total prize leaderboard, 4 Angry Men up above them at 41, and it goes around from there. Some surprises, right, to see teams like Na'Vi getting that 0 in PGS8, seeing some of those guys who got big payouts struggling to make that money here in this event.
Oh,
Let's
man.
see.
I mean, Na'Vi, T1, both is just kind of painful to see on here, finding nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Now, I do know that there's also the knock-on effects of the PGC, PGS points, so I do hope that we roll over to that here. Martin, why don't you break this one down for me? Wait, this is total prize leaderboards.
That's the second
half. That's the second half.
Wow,
But yeah,
wow.
that's just basically a lot of teams that did either decent or not played PGS8 so far. But yeah, Full Sense on 1,000 is my biggest surprise.
God likes made more money than Full Sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. How is that a thing?
PGC champions, by the way.
You know, but they're a finals team. Just wait, they'll be back for PGC. They'll be back for PGC. That's where they'll turn up, I believe.
Depends on where
that
PGC
is rough. It's gaming. Oh,
There you
I
go.
guess we're back. Okay. Hey, guys, congratulations to 17 Gaming coming away with a win, earned, fought for, and taken. So congratulations to them as they walk away with the big money, as well as the PGS points to go along with it, and a bid to the final. Now, I don't think we're going to get a graphic on who qualified, so I'm just going to tell you outright for those of you at home, the 8 teams that are going directly to the final are 17 Gaming, Virtus Pro, Falcons, Made in Thailand, E-Arena, Supers, Petrichor Road, and get this, Godlike. They will be the 8 teams advancing straight to the grand final. Everyone else going to have to battle it out. And again, this is the math as I have it now. I guess there's a world where I should put a little disclaimer on there that this is still Toffee's doing math. But those 8 teams should be advancing if all of my paperwork turns out to be true. A shock to me, though, is seeing some of these teams on the bottom. Twisted Mind's going to have to go to the survival stage to get themselves out of it. Gen G and some others also going to find themselves down there, battling the likes of Na'Vi to make a name for themselves all over again, Mark.
It's so difficult. Obviously, EMEA region slightly biased, right? But I look at the leaderboard. Twisted Minds can't get out of the trench at the moment. Na'Vi can't get into the finals. Something is not right. Yes, there is excuse. There's been a lot of changes. Yes, but we've seen Na'Vi do really well early part of the year. They talk a lot about communication. Obviously, it's just not working out. They've got to come back next week. They need to do the best of 5 to find themselves in a best of 15 for the final. Then we look at Twisted Minds, we look at Na'Vi and go, actually, their point averages are quite good. But then you look back at the rest of the lobby and actually there's teams here getting better reps in with better placements and better kill points.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be tough for some of those teams on the bottom who've been hit pretty hard, perhaps, by the changes to the meta. So we're going to see exactly who comes out on top. Okay, so never mind. It sounds like my math might have been wrong. I don't know. Give us a graphic that I can work with here, people, for who's going to the top 8. Either way, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm hoping to give it to us right here.
We'll see, though.
So it's not godlike, I don't think. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to see it next weekend, and that's, I think, the key to this. As we wait for the leaderboard to pop up and tell us who's playing next week, it is going to be the top 8 teams to get a chance to go straight to it. Now, 15 games. I think that's going to change things up quite a bit. And I do think that opens the door, Martin, for some of our teams like Twisted Minds, if they make it to that final, to sort of get back into it because they're a little less chaos-oriented.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important part is that we're talking triple